I'm Alex.
And I'm Teddy.
And I'm Spencer.
And we are
The Button Mappers.
Hey, the Button Mappers. Welcome to the Button Mappers for the finale of Alex Month. I'm Alex Touchdown. I have my Travis jacket on today. With me today, I have Spencer Touchdown. That's all I got is Touchdown.
Hey guys, ready to throw into the end zone.
Teddy Touchdown.
Fuck!
And special guest Dee Zee D. Hold down. He gets hand raised.
Oh. Hey, how is this for a bit of fun? I think that's what Henry says. I don't know.
And today we are here to do map out. No, not a map out. It's a special occasion. We're doing a rank out for No More Heroes.
PU.
The only oh god, the only game that I could possibly end Alex Month with. But before we start doing that, Teddy, where can they find us?
Well, now that you found us on the YouTubes, why don't you take a moment and make sure that you've liked and subscribed, because that's the thing a real hero would do. And Spencer, you can tell them about other stuff.
Uh-oh. Okay, you're going to have to help me out. I know we're on Spotify, so swipe
Teddy,
up on that one.
Teddy took your thing.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Make sure that you swipe right on Apple Podcasts.
It's a match.
And do we have another one?
Pod Bucket.
Pod Bucket? Yeah. Swipe down on Pod Bucket.
Swipe down.
Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and don't forget to follow us on YouTube. I don't know.
Take a screenshot.
Yeah, do stuff on those things.
Make it your wallpaper.
Oh, Discord. That's the one. Discord.
Oh, and hop onto our Discord where we share all the episodes and you get to hear Terry talk about things.
And before we get started, DZD, where can the people find you?
I have a Twitter. It's D Guy, and then there's my YouTube, and that's pretty much about it. I don't really have a lot of social media.
Cool. Well, buckle up and let's get ready. Slice down the competition. No More Heroes.
That's my wee waggle.
And then this is the part where I'm going to insert like some bullshit intro.
I know a lot of gamers out there don't have much patience. At least that's what Bishop, the dude at the video store, said. So I'm at the register, then I realized I got no money. I was seriously broke. Why? Because I met this smoking hot chick last night at the deathmatch bar. Man, she smelled good. So being the gentleman I am, I bought her a drink. Anywho, I decided to get a job. The gig? Assassinate the drifter. So I went where I was supposed to and waited for the guy to show up. And there he was, this cat, well-dressed, cool, couldn't tell if he was the shit or just plain old shit. Yeah, so he's styling, fast, aggressive, and packing heat. Bada bing. Or at least it was supposed to be. Till she showed up. Her name? Sylvia Crystal, an agent with this whatchamacallit association.
Congratulations. You are certified as the 11th best hitman. How about getting rid of the 10 killers above you? and aim for the top.
I want to be number 1. How's that? Short and simple enough for you? It's gonna be a long, hard road. But who knows? Could kick ass. Could be dangerous. Could totally suck. What do you say, bro? Join me. Let's see how far we can take this. And for you there holding the controller right now, just press the A button. Let the bloodshed begin.
All right, guys. That wasn't awkward at all. What do you guys know about No More Heroes and or Suda 51?
I know that he's Japan, but yes, he isn't Japanese. He's Japan.
He's Japan.
He's a Japanese game developer. He makes really odd games that are, I don't know. He's like Quentin Tarantino, David Lynch, and Hideo Kojima mixed into one. Just amazing blend of craziness.
I just know that they tend to have weird art styles, and that is all.
You'll have to help me with the name here. Is it Killer 7 or Killer? Yeah, Killer 7 on the GameCube. That was like one of those like interesting GameCube titles. Like the GameCube didn't have a lot that was like in that tone or that style. So I think when it came out, it stood out. I never played it, but I know like, Grasshopper is a big name, and Suda is very much a respected name, very much in the same way as like Yoko Taro, I think, in that same vein. I may have played No More Heroes once when I collected for the Wii, and I didn't care about the waggle, or I'm confusing it with another game like Red Steel. I don't think I would confuse those two, but I think I was kind of like not for it. I played the Switch version this time, and I made it. I'm here. I didn't get killed by any assassins.
And I'm a huge Suda 51 fan, and the reason why I asked DZD onto this episode is because I know that Teddy and Spencer, this is their first time playing through and completing this game, and as far as I know, their first time playing a Suda game. So D's also here because I know he's pretty knowledgeable when it comes to the No More Heroes games, especially. So,
can you guys tell us about the story about how you first interacted?
Oh, me and D?
Yeah.
Oh shit. You found me, right, D?
I think you might have commented on one of my videos.
Okay.
I think it was the one on Stop Skeletons from Fighting. And then I just kind of looked at your channel. I was like, this is really cool.
I couldn't remember. I just remembered you commenting on my Crazy Taxi 3 video and being like, hey, nice music. And I was like, cool, it's from No More Heroes.
Yeah, because I think I watched one of your videos after either you commented on one of mine, and then I was like, just watching some of your reviews, and I was like, this is nice music. I didn't know there was a Crazy Taxi on a Xbox.
So yeah, that's kind of where we met around 2018 ish.
Yeah, around that time.
Love at first sight. Or comment.
Well.
Okay.
Friendly love. It's platonic.
Yeah.
Brotherly love. There we go.
Hey. In the spirit of No More Heroes.
And we're actually, this is releasing at the end of March for Alex Month, but April 2nd is the 1-year anniversary of our No More Heroes Top 10 collab. I realized that last night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I released that April 2nd and Spencer helped me. Which I'm curious if Spencer editing that video ruined anything for him.
I wasn't sure if you remembered that I edited that.
No, I remembered that you edited that video. I was like, shit. I was like, he already knows like some of the bosses. All right. No More Heroes. I want to hand it over to Teddy and or Spencer. One of you guys, pick which one. And I want you to tell me what the plot setup is for No More Heroes leading up into the first ranking.
Nose goes.
Why do you want me to do it? Aren't you the expert at it?
Because I think it'll be funnier if I have one of you guys do it.
Can I just do this off the top? Like,
Yeah.
it's gonna be terrible. I'm gonna be completely wrong about everything, and you're gonna have to correct everything.
Okay.
So a guy wakes up in his apartment with some Sailor Moon figures and a cat, and his apartment's a little messy, and he's got a cool jukebox playing. I think the VHS store says he's a little late on the video. And then so he gets another voicemail from a last name Sylvia saying, come check me out. And I got you on that booty call. You just got to kill 10 people. And that's all I got.
Okay, D, what's the actual setup?
All right. So
Wait, you don't want to hear
just this,
Spencer's version?
Yeah, sure.
It ain't gonna be better than that. I promise you.
Okay. All right. So you're this guy. He's Travis Touchdown. He's this kind of nobody loser. He ends up meeting this lady at this bar, who is named Sylvia, and he instructs him to kill this drifter. And he's this like cool looking JRPG character. And once he does that, he has to now basically fight all these ranked assassins in order to make money and become number one.
Can I just ask, is that clear at the beginning of the game?
Wait, what? What's clear?
That
Like
he
the-
was at
the
a
actual
bar
movie?
and then he was asked to kill all these
Yeah,
assassins?
it was in the cutscene.
Yeah, I actually already played the cutscene at the beginning of the map out.
Okay, I guess
I don't
should
remember
go
that
back
at
and watch.
all.
Yeah, I don't either.
Oh,
I
yeah?
just remember coming out of the house in the beginning.
Yeah, that's all I remember.
Yeah, he comes out, he
Skip
gets
it.
on the bike, and he
Yeah.
starts talking about like what happened beforehand. Like he was like I was at the register, then I realized I got no money. I was seriously broke. He's talking about how he ended up taking a job and killing an assassin who ended up being ranked 11th. So now he's thrown into the rankings.
Okay, but it was like commentary style. I remember like him talking into the mic and stuff and saying this stuff.
Yeah. So that's the setup. Is Travis wants to become number one. He doesn't really have any motivation. He's just kind of a loser. He sits in his motel room that he lives in and watches anime and plays video games and watches porn, and he's got nothing going on in his life. So it's that's
Inspiring.
the setup. Yeah, very inspiring. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through each of the rankings here and talk about the bosses, and we can talk about the levels if you guys have something to say about the levels themselves. And yeah, let's get started. So the rank number 10, the first guy you're going to fight, his name is Death Metal. Death Metal lives in a big old mansion. He is a rich and successful assassin, and he is the first guy Travis cuts down on his journey. Do you guys have anything cool to say about, or not cool, but just anything in general to say about Death Metal?
I like his design. I like his beam sword thing that he has. Yeah, he's a really interesting character, and it's unfortunate that he doesn't really say much. He seems like to be the more down to earth out of many of the ranked assassins. And like a shadow clone technique, that's pretty cool.
I'm a little bit confused. You said that he doesn't say much. I thought he said plenty. Did
Well,
he not?
he says I guess it's like, I don't know. I wanted more of this character, I guess is what I'm trying to say. He's
I
like
understand.
he has this whole spiel at the beginning of basically saying that, this is a kind of a dangerous path to go on. Make sure that you actually want this for, climbing this wall, that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I just wanted more of this character. That's pretty much how I feel about most of the rank bosses.
Okay.
Yeah, he does have a pretty good little spiel about like paradise, and they're talking about like what their
Yeah.
ideas of paradise is.
At this point in the game, and because just playing this as a first timer, I was just trying to like figure out like what is this? What am I playing? And a lot of this level is that it's learning the systems, the lightsaber systems, the kicks, etc. They throw a bunch like cronies at you, and you're going through. I think it's like a kind of like a wealthy kind of like beach resort. It looks like, I don't know how to describe it. I know the final battle takes place in the outdoors and kind of like a, you know, a platform
courtyard
or
or something.
Yeah. The I think the boss here was the most forgettable portion of it to me. And maybe it's just because like I just didn't get it. And like, I think like Dee's saying, like, I think he, compared to the other ones, he was probably the least defined in terms of a unique personality. I remembered other things through the level, like walking down that hallway on the cell phone, talking to that lady and just interrupted me. And like, when it started, I didn't think it was Sylvia. I thought it was like, just like a bad Asian dub voice. And then I learned later it's Sylvia. And I think I figured that out like halfway through the game. I remember at one point, Travis screams fuckhead to somebody, like just a random crony. He's like, fuckhead. And I thought that just stood out to me as kind of like ridiculous. And I don't know, one of the more genuine laughs I got in the game. And I remember picking up the Lucha Libre mask and getting like a wrestling move. Like, what the hell is this? And so a lot of this was just like a lot of shit thrown at me and just like taking the time to absorb it. And I think it was fine. It was fine for learning it. I don't think that like I took too much away from the boss battle. I beat him, you know, and considering I didn't even understand things like the combo or recharging the lightsaber at that time, that was fine.
Yeah, this is going to be super interesting because you bring up a good point. Is that the game just sort of throws you in and doesn't give you time. Like, it doesn't explain the world. Doesn't give you time to like. It's just like, oh yeah, here you go. You're going to kill people now. And I remember the first time I ever played this game. Actually, I think up through like maybe like the 6th or 7th rank, somewhere around there. I was so unsure of what the hell I was even playing at that time. So, like, but like it's been so long now that I'm very like desensitized to it. So now I'm like, of course, yeah, death metal. But like, yeah, from a newcomer's perspective, it's like at this point you're just like trying to figure out like what the hell's even happening.
Well, I kind of took it in a couple ways. I took it as, you know, like in some ways like an anime mixed with like a ninja like Asian sword fighting thing. I don't know. I don't know a lot about that culture. Or I don't watch those at all, but I just kind of, that's just what I thought of this. And then I also took it as Metal Gear Solid, where like they have really memorable boss fights that are just like bizarre creations, and they get a chance to like spout things and talk about stuff. So I don't know that I was totally confused or thrown off. That's just how I viewed it. So I went into it like, oh, okay, a boss fight's gonna wax poetic about his view on this thing, which is assassination people, the lifestyle, I guess. The boss guy was kind of cool. Like is it like a stereo or something that is his weapon that turns into a sword?
Weird. Yeah, it kind of looks like one at first, and then it like folds out into a big sword. I don't think it's a stereo, but like it's just like looks like a briefcase looking thing at first. Like it's like a thing with a handle, and then it like folds out into a big sword, and it's like such a bizarre idea for like a weapon. But it's, I don't know. I think it's cool.
Yeah, it's unique.
And then you cut out. Oh my gosh, I was playing this with my sister recently because she watched me play 1 and 2 forever ago, and then she wanted to replay them with me because 3 was coming out. So she watched me play, and then the part where you like end him and you like cut off his hands, and it's like the sword like hits the ceiling, and he's like, "Finally, the moment I've been waiting for." She just fucking lost it because he's just sitting there with like no hands, just like, "Finally, the moment I've been waiting for."
Oh yeah, that's the total.
I was like, yeah, it is.
Sorry,
it's a little ridiculous, isn't it?
Oh, that's a total Monty Python thing. The guy
Yeah.
gets all of his body parts chopped off. He's like, "I got you. Come on, what are you doing? Run away? We'll call this a draw."
But thematically, yeah, as Dee was touching upon, it is death metal is supposed to be a warning to Travis about the assassin lifestyle. And it's funny you kind of picked you kind of were dancing around it earlier, Spencer, but Suda has often said that like Travis is like the idea of a modern day samurai, not really in the sense of like being a hero, but in the sense of like following a code. And yeah, I think the bosses we'll see kind of all have like a philosophy that kind of like link back to that. Death metal's philosophy isn't really. It's just kind of like, hey, like I'm rich and successful, but like my life kind of sucks, and like you probably don't want this. And Travis is like, oh well, fuck you, dude. so and so after you beat death metal, you get introduced to the rest of the game. Santa Destroy opens up, and you get introduced to the idea of jobs and assassination missions. We will not talk about this for the rest of the map out because it doesn't really mean anything, in terms of like the gameplay. But I just want to know what you guys thought about the in-betweens between the ranking fights.
I'm kind of torn between them because I like open world games, I like messing around, but the kind of sandbox they have in this one is kind of empty outside of finding some secrets and moving to like the different jobs and the gym and stuff like that.
It's hit and miss because I mean I think it was a nice distraction from I personally like I'm not a hack and slash type of guy, so I actually thought it was nice just to cruise around. And I kind of just took my time with this game. I didn't rush through it, since I knew I had to play it. Probably started a couple weeks ago, just taking on a boss at a time, doing some grinding, putting on a podcast, like doing some of the assassin missions and some of the jobs. The jobs are funny, I got kind of a kick out of them. I thought those are obviously a nice diversion from like some of the mindless killing. Pizza butt, it's a funny little concept. And some of the assassin missions weren't good. I didn't like the batting ones. And then later in the game, when you really need to grind for some money, they become a little bit stale, and I think it does make getting all the collectibles a bit painful. So it's a two-way street, I guess. Oh, the bike! Fuck the bike! I couldn't learn that. I couldn't learn how to do that for half the game. I kept riding, like knocking the thing over, driving into walls, hitting the things.
So like so Travis going, oh, and like falling off the bike.
Yeah, and then sometimes I'd be standing right in front of the bike trying to get on the bike, and like it's I couldn't find the button to like get you on the bike, and that was rough. But I got it eventually.
I'm with Teddy on a lot of that, except for the bike. I loved the bike. That was my favorite thing, actually, was cruising around town on that bike. I like that more than most. I understand. I'm of two minds on it. Like, I understand why the part-time jobs and the assassin jobs are in there. Like, I get it. But at times, especially like Teddy was alluding to towards the end, it's like you need to get $150,000 or whatever, and you already got gold on a bunch of jobs, and it's like it's kind of a slog. I wish there was like a better way that they integrated that stuff in there so it felt more rewarding or it was more optional or something. I'm not sure how, but I just mixed feelings on that.
They got a lot of criticism for that at the time. They totally abandoned it for the second game. The second game, you don't have an open world at all. You have a list of like things you can do, like take on the next ranking or do a side job or go to a store and stuff. So like you don't have the open world and you don't have the grinding at all in 2. And then 3, they kind of like bring it back, but they fix it. Like you don't have to really grind for that much money. You have to like take on a certain amount of fights and stuff, and it's way easier to get through 3. 2, I think the idea was that Suda wanted to juxtapose everything by like being like, yeah, but like you have to work and like it's like grind for your job and shit. Like the jobs themselves, I don't think are supposed to be very fun. Like collecting the trash or picking up scorpions or mowing the yard. Like they're not really supposed to be like fun jobs. They're just jobs that Travis has to do to get to the next ranking, which I think is funny, but also can turn people away from the game because it's Suda just being like, I have this weird idea to just like add this thing in here to, I don't know, to be weird and different. The open world
that's like that's the thing is like I get it, like that's why it's hard to say I don't like it, because I understand why it's there and it serves its purpose, but at like rank 8 it's like you're gonna make me keep doing this. It's like, oh my god.
And the other things in the open world before we move on, you have some free missions you can do, which you just like kill people and don't get hit once. You have a gym you can work out at. You have a scientist named Dr. Naomi, who makes new beam katanas for you, and you can buy upgrades and stuff. And she is a busty lady who is also like 60. So yeah. There's like a clothing shop. What else am I missing, D? I'm trying to think.
There's
the
I think
video
Bloody
store.
Buff.
Video
yeah,
store.
There's a video store. Yeah.
Yeah, we can buy wrestling tapes because that's how Travis learns how to wrestle.
And the lobby cop balls.
Yeah.
Lava cop ball. Yeah, the drunk guy in the bar.
I got 7.
Of balls. Those.
What do the Lava Cop balls do?
They give you new techniques and
Yeah,
stuff.
you get like a like the most useful one for me, I think, is that you get a sprint button.
Mm-hmm.
That you just like run really fucking fast, and once I get that sprint button, I just run around the entire city and collect everything real fast. Just
I don't get. Did I just not do you do something with them? Like I thought I just collected them.
You
you
give
take them
them
back to
drunk
the
guy.
the drunk Russian guy.
At the
Bar.
bar, there's a bar, and he's just like, I'll talk to you once you
Oh.
bring me some balls, kid.
Okay, so I've got a bunch of them in my inventory. I just never did anything with them.
You
He's
get
like,
wrestling
"Shoot."
moves, you get bonus multipliers, and then I guess a sprinting move, which would have been nice towards the end.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
And then also you have I mentioned the gym, but I want to touch on it because it is kind of important to mention the character there. You train with a man named Thunder Ryu, who used to be a Yakuza, and he also tells you to get naked whenever you
That.
train with him. Which is
Give me
hilarious.
that. Oh, yeah.
That.
I want that. All
That.
caps.
So that's kind of like the grind between each rank. You just do that stuff until you get money to pay for the ranking fights. So unless you have anything else to say about the open world experience between the rankings, we're gonna move on to the rankings.
Thunder Ryu.
Okay. Next up, we have rank number 9, Dr. Peace. You fight Dr. Peace at Santa Destroy Baseball Stadium. And he is a Timothy Dalton looking dirty detective type character. Uses golden revolvers.
Yeah, I was getting
you
some
guys-
Charles Bronson vibes.
Yeah.
Yep.
What do you guys think of Dr. Peace?
Once again, I liked him a lot. He showed, I guess, the more seedier side of the whole UAA assassin organization, and I think it kind of opens Travis's eyes a bit to that this isn't really on the level, but he's kind of already in the thick of it.
He's probably my favorite of all of them. I like that there's so much character in that one where he's like singing in an empty baseball field and just like putting on this weird concert. There's just a lot to take in on that. And he talks about his daughter. She just has nothing but disdain for him. There's a lot going on there that I really liked. And the boss fight itself, it's whatever. But the character is really cool. I think it's probably my favorite.
SNES Mapper also loves that boss fight. That's his favorite boss fight from that game. So you get to have a drink with Bruno.
All right, Bruno, let's go. Drink up.
I was getting spaghetti western vibes. I don't know if I kind of felt like a cowboy shootout or something from what I remember. And also by this time I was getting the systems down. So things like lock on and rolling around, you need to be able to do that to get close to him, I think, because he throws the baseballs at you. If I'm remembering this right, it's been a little bit. I think I liked also how there's kind of switch up in like the cronies that you fight. So these guys would actually, there was a little bit of hack and slash, but then it would also, there'd be sections where they do like batter up and you need to like swing with your lightsaber and hit the baseball. And you could basically reduce the amount of hack and slash you need to do if you were able to successfully time it. So I liked it. I always went for the challenge. At first I was like, what do I even press? Like, again, kind of like thrown in my face. But yeah, no, it's a good bout. He had some character. The singing thing, I think there's a nice juxtaposition. Like, it would seem like he wasn't even listening to you because Travis was like, "You're gonna die, man," and the guy's like, welcome to my stadium. It's interesting contrast.
Yeah, that's a very Suda thing you brought up with the idea of like the baseball bit, because like it's like, especially when you get to Dr. Peace, I'll talk about that in a second. There's some really dark themes with him, but before that, yeah, there's just sections where like Travis walks into a room and there's like 10 guys all lined up in a row, and they're gonna like pitch to him, and he's like, "All right, I'll play baseball." And he fucking like does his little stance and stuff. It's just like, it's like the weirdest and silliest shit, like juxtaposed with like the darkest themes. Because when you actually get to Dr. Peace and start talking to him, he talks about how the UAA, the United Associations Association, paid for a dinner for him and his family that he's estranged from. And they got them reservations in this place nobody can get reservations to and stuff, and so it should be this great big great moment for him. But he said his daughter couldn't look him in the eye. His food tasted like blood. It shows how far he's been driven from the people he loves and cares about, and that also is kind of like, along with death metal, it's also served as a warning for Travis that Travis decides to ignore.
I mean, really, every boss is pretty much a warning to him, isn't it?
It's a warning or like a reflection, but I think death metal and Dr. Peace are like both, like they're both put here because they're both like they've been in the game for a long time, like they're both kind of like veterans. So it's I don't know if there's any characters past this that really fit that mold for me. These two are kind of it for like we've been doing this for years and our lives are terrible. So.
Yeah.
Boss fight itself, it's pretty cool. He's got golden revolvers, and you gotta shoot him. And there's like as Teddy mentioned, there is like a Western shootout sections where you have to like time your button to like slash him and stuff, and kill him, and then he bleeds out and dies. There you go. So, anything else to say about Dr. Peace?
Peace out.
Yeah, peace out.
Next up, we have rank number 8, Shinobu. Shinobu, you fight Shinobu at Stand to Destroy High School because she is a high school student at the high school. I'm going to say high school a bunch of times. And some really interesting stuff to bring up with her. But before that, do you guys have anything to say about Shinobu or the stage leading up to Shinobu?
I don't love the idea of violence with children. It's something that's a little bit off-putting to me. So I'll just throw that out there. But I can put that aside for a little bit. Especially, when I don't like the fighting in schools and blood and shit. That's a little bit.
I'm not sure if the actual enemies were kids, because they just look like the generic enemies.
Box heads. They have boxes in this stage on their heads, so they're just
I get that, but there's an implication.
High school,
especially
girl,
when your opponent is a little girl that's in school.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite sit well with me. Although I will say that the character itself, I really, really like Shinobu, and I'm. The one bit of curiosity I left with this game was really like, because clearly she is your friend, and I'm wondering where she goes from here.
Oh, she's spoilers, but she's in the rest of the games.
That's good. I liked her.
Yeah. Yeah. I just agree. She's really interesting character. I feel like they could have ruined her by making her just like, I don't know, just this. What's the word I'm looking for? Just this femme fatale, I guess. That's like an old term. Just like this attractive female character, but she's like a freaking high school student. But no, they actually treat her very seriously, and make her into like, I guess, Travis's apprentice in the future games.
She's interesting because she's like sort of like a parody of the femme fatale in a way.
Yeah, definitely.
Like she starts spouting off the whole thing about like once she sees Travis's baby katana, she's like, "You killed my father, revenge," and stuff, which is like a common trope, which is funny we just had a boss talking about how his daughter hated him, and now we're having a boss, talking about how she wants to avenge her father.
Yeah.
So yeah, some a funny mix up there. Travis didn't kill her father and stuff, but a funny mix
I
up
think
there.
it's implied that Henry did, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, that's not really.
Yeah,
It's not really said.
It's just a throwaway thing that they kind of put in there.
Fun boss fight. She just has a katana. I don't know. like I think of all the boss designs, she's probably like the most subdued character because she's just like a high school student with a katana, and it is kind of like Spencer was saying with the violence towards kids. It is kind of fucked up how like when you first talk to her, she just like takes out like a room full of students, and it's just like, did you kill all those people or whatever? And he says, and she's just like, you have no idea what it's like to hide yourself around here, whatever. But I think it's implied, honestly, like if you're looking through the game, everybody in Santa Destroy is like not a good person. Like they're all.
It's bad. California, so
it's California.
Oh,
everybody's a killer.
Disneyland is just a death trap.
Predicted modern day California.
The boss fight itself, I think it's pretty fun. You fight her in this like abandoned looking building. There's a lot of especially with this fight. I think Dr. Peace had some as well, but this fight there's a lot of like you have to do a lot of evasive maneuvers, and there's some pretty brutal like hits you can get in that can end you pretty quick if you're not careful. I remember
she has an instant kill move.
Yeah, I remember my first time playing this game. I had trouble with her a few times, but once you get her down, you beat her, and Travis cuts off her hand, and she begs for him to kill her, and he says no. he walks away, which is interesting because he hasn't shown remorse for anything else he's done. But he let her live. Later commented on maybe why he did that.
Well, is he just like not wanting to hurt women? Because I noticed that trend
changes in the
game.
second half of the game. Though.
Yeah.
They say it, but yeah, he kills. Well, we'll get there, but there's women he kills in the second half of the game. And so somebody says that. Holly Summers says it later, but. Yeah, the rest of the game disproves that. I think it was kind of like going back to the principal thing. I guess he's got kind of a code here, and I think maybe he pities her. It's kind of like she's deluded. She thinks something that's not true, and she's a kid, and and I think he realized that she's not doing this for the wrong reasons, and so like there's some kind of mutual. Not mutual, but appreciation there. As far as character design, my thoughts on Shinobu. She's fine. I think even in looking at the name, I always think of Shinobi, right? Like the ninja or the Shinobi games, and the Sega. And so Shinobu, I don't know what I'm getting out of that, like a Shinobi waifu or something, but it's a kid, and then so that doesn't really work. So, I guess I appreciate her in the second half of the game, so that was cool. But I mean, she's fine.
Shinobu, the Shinobi waifu. So Travis says that he wants to kill her when she's older. This way he tells Sylvia, because Sylvia's like, hey, you didn't like end this. Like, you kind of have to do it. He's like, nah. So it's just kind of left there. Which is funny. I don't think he actually. I think because she's in the other games, and I think he was just like he had some kind of mutual respect for her as well. So, rank number 7 is an interesting one. You go to a movie studio. First you take a train. You go to the subway and take a train to a movie studio, and then you meet Destroy Man. What's up with Destroy Man, guys?
Yeah, Destroy Man is definitely shows the kind of like, I guess, transition to the more, I guess, crazier and more colorful characters, because he starts off as this mild mannered postman, but then he does that whole thing where he tries to trick Travis by having him turn around to, oh, I just need to change real quick, but then he like shoots him with the destroy beam, and yeah, he fights dirty, and he's a bit of a coward, but that's kind of what makes him interesting.
Yeah, this was what we put as our number 1 in that top 10, right?
Yeah, we did.
So we should have a lot to say about Destroy Man. Daddy Spencer, do you guys?
He was a lot of fun. I like the whole superhero thing. It's a nice twist because he's just used to like assassins, especially when you think of this game being more, especially up to this point, being more of like a duelist, samurai inspired. This is definitely a huge left turn of them just saying, okay, how about a superhero? And it's cool. He's like it was like a postman. Clearly has some issues, and then it just explodes into this superhero fight. I mean, he's not even like a dark superhero either. It's just it looks like a Superman type, but clearly he's an asshole. And yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, well, I think part of the darkness is that his personalities are so split, and he's really using the oh, don't hurt me, I just need to change, or like, yeah, no, please just give me a second, in order I'd like to use it as a farce. So I mean, like, he's almost, his whole identity is in a sort of state of flux. And the battle itself, honestly, I was looking at the name, I could not remember. I was thinking like Mega Man for some reason, like Destroy Man. But this battle, the only thing I didn't like about this was, there's a hitbox where sometimes like he'll back up into a corner, and he backed up into the corner where the health box was. And so I had to get the health in order to attack him, because he wouldn't move out of that damn corner. And so I lost the first time I fought him because he took my health. And then I think he had a couple moves later that were messing me up, like a couple of long range ones. I liked some of the interactable elements of the boss fight. Oh, maybe this is the one where the box head people were. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was in the movie studio.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember what,
because the high school one had like the grungy, like the guys with the flannel.
Okay.
Jeans.
What I liked about this battle was the interactable elements, like the light boxes. You would just like, he was getting pulled up by strings, and if you attack them, he'd just drop and belly flop. And I think I started using some of the wrestling moves in this battle. I don't remember using them as explicitly in the previous ones, and they become a real boon as far as like getting some nice damage done on the bosses. So yeah, two bouts for me, but I did take down Destroy. Man, I destroyed him. Man.
Yeah. Man. Destroyed him, man. I'm glad you mentioned the split personality thing, because I think it's part of what Suda wanted to do here, was kind of like commentate on like for one, it's at a movie studio and he's playing a superhero, like kind of like the idea of violence in media, and the fact that like a lot of superheroes and shit like that will use brutality and violence, but justify it with saying it's for justice, and instead, Destroy Man's true nature is not the postman. He's the brutal, violent superhero who, you see, you walk in, the room's covered with blood and dead bodies and stuff, and it's just kind of like a subversion of the superhero archetype in a way, which I think is.
Hey, I don't see it as a split personality, though.
Really?
Because it's one personality that's just being fake on the outside.
Yeah, I see it as one is just fake. Mm-hmm. The postman is just totally fake. And like when it's like shaking on his face, he's like straining not to like explode with the superhero energy that he knows what he clearly wants to. I see it as a whole facade, like just a fake vision of humanity, and he's just not that at all. Just and it shines through a lot. That's
sort of like the brilliant thing about some of the bosses in this game. Well, in just this game in general, is that like there's a bunch of different videos online you can look up of like what No More Heroes means, and I think they're all right, because it's just left open for interpretation a lot of the time. Like Suda hasn't come out and like Suda hasn't been like Destroy Man was this. Like he's just like I think it's cool that like you kind of look at the bosses like that. I really love the interactions here with Travis and Destroy Man. It's probably what makes it one of my favorite fights is just the idea of them two interacting so long before they actually fight, and the fact that he tries to like trick him and he like shocks him or whatever, then blasts him with the laser and stuff. And it also shows how gullible and dumb Travis is.
Oh yeah, he's
Because
not a smart man.
Yeah, Travis is not a cool guy or a good person, or Travis is like a fucking idiot. And it's it's multiple times throughout the game, like he tells Sylvia he'll climb the rankings if she has sex with him, which is like the most desperate thing you could possibly do. There's multiple times
Travis
throughout the game where
Yeah,
Travis is a simp, and there's multiple times throughout the game where like it's just so that things just can get easily pulled over onto Travis without him even thinking about it. And this is one of them where he's like, for sportsmanship, and he's like, put out his hand. He's like, yeah. Then he grabs his hand, he's like, destroy Spark or whatever. And he fucking shocks the hell out of him.
Does he say he'll have sex with her, or does she project that onto him?
She says maybe not. So she's just kind of like, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
But I feel like the only times it comes up are out of her mouth. Maybe I'm just
Yeah,
I missed it.
that's where I got it from. The second half of the game on, she was like, "I'm gonna have sex with you later." If you do this.
The first thing he said, because he was asking about like he's stuck in these ranking fights now after he kills Death Metal, and then he says, okay, how about this, if I become number one, will you do it with me? And then she says maybe not, and that's kind of where that starts, is that he kind of like snowballs that. He's like like, if I do this, can we have sex? like what do I get out of this? Just being number one.
Okay.
So and then multiple times. We didn't bring it up, but I also love the moment when in the high school, whenever the sprinklers go off and Travis is like, obviously his beam katana thing is like reacting to the water. He's being shocked. And he's like, and he's like fucking like running throughout the school to go turn the water off and stuff. Mm-hmm. It's just like funny moments like that. That's like the game constantly knocks Travis down a peg. Like the game's constantly like, Travis is a fucking idiot. And I think this is one of the biggest moments for that is the interaction with the story man. So I always kind of appreciated that. Anything else to say about the story man except for his? Nobody mentioned the nipple cannons. I just want to bring that up.
Oh yeah, that was at the end. Okay, so after like Travis quote unquote spares Destroy Man, he unleashes his nipple cannons. But unfortunately, due to his angling, they just completely miss Travis. He's a lanky son of a bitch. And he just slices him in half.
It's just nipple cannons. That always gets
me. You think that he spares Destroy Man?
Well, Destroy Man begs for Travis to spare him. And then, like, when he pulls out his beam katana, because it's like in his chest, in Destroy Man's chest, he pulls it out. And I don't know if he was actually going to kill him or not. It's kind of unclear, but like right after that, he like unleashes the nipple cannons.
Unleashes
them, yeah.
You've fallen into my trap, nipple cannons.
I want it on a T-shirt. Unleash the nipple cannons.
Yeah, I wish there was more No More Heroes merch, because that would be a funny shirt. Just have Destroy Man's face on there.
Oh, what did you guys gear up? Like, do you have a certain outfit you get in the game?
Oh yeah, we had talked about that. I always get the I always end up playing with the black, just like the black jacket. There's a shirt you can, I think you find it in one of the dumpsters. I'm not sure, but it's a shirt of a robot eating a watermelon. I don't know why that's hilarious to me, but I always wear that one.
Oh yeah, I love that.
It's the watermelon robot always gets me. And then I just have like the black glasses and the black jeans and stuff. I don't know why I always like. I personally wear a lot of black clothing. Like under this jacket, I have a black shirt, black pants on. So I like I always like to dress Travis in black clothes.
I usually go for the darker colors. I was just gonna say I usually go for the darker colors, but sometimes I like to mix it up and go with the more lighter ones, like kind of the more neon-y ones.
Oh, that'd be cool. I also went with the black jacket, blue jeans, brown belt. I did a little play around with it because he's got like this kind of like fancy jeans, and I was like, I put it on at first. It's a little expensive, but then I was like, it's too flashy. Black glasses or blue maybe, and a white Tengu shirt. I like the Tengu.
Oh, that one.
You know, it reminds me
Yeah,
of like
that one looks nice.
yeah, and it's affordable. You don't spend a lot of money, and money's a nice commodity in this game, so or not hard to come by. So.
I think I changed the shirt once.
You changed from the anime one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was.
There's a hilarious outfit you can get. It's the most expensive outfit, but he has an outfit that's like a pink jacket, pink jeans and stuff. It's like all themed around the anime he likes, the whatever the
Bizarre
I think it's
Jelly
called.
or something.
Yeah, the Bizarre Jelly 5 anime thing that he likes. It's like the witchy looking girls that are on the posters and stuff. You can get a full outfit of that. He's just a fucking weeb. Shit. It's so funny.
You know, as a slight aside, I'm in a group chat with some friends of mine. I don't watch anime at all, but Travis Touchdown reminds me of them.
Oh no.
They just constantly like in between talking about cars and like shooting guns and shit. They'll just send me things. They'll send things like anime memes and stuff. I'm just like, what is this shit? Just like of girls and like hentai girls and stuff.
Yeah, I
So funny.
get a lot of those in the Discord servers. I'm like, I'm a fan of anime and I get it, but sometimes it can be a little much.
Yeah, you know, and clearly, like, you know, he's so into anime, and also, you know, he learns wrestling by watching wrestling VHS tapes. You know, and he bought the beam katana has always been a question that people ask me, like, why does he have a beam katana? And I'm like, he literally bought it off of eBay. Like, that's the in-game explanation.
I know.
Through the
I love how matter of fact that is. That
It's
in
just-
this world, beam-based weapons exist. You can just buy them legally
Yeah.
off eBay.
Yeah, he just bought it off eBay.
Like, it's
Can
not
I say?
even like- I was just saying, it's not like he mistook it for like a fake beam katana or something, but it was a real thing.
Can I say that I was very, very impressed by as a huge wrestling fan. The wrestling moves are accurate, they're named correctly, and they're animated very well. So I was very, very impressed by the wrestling stuff, and that they even bothered to include it. So clearly, somebody there's a fan, and
It's Suda.
is he a big fan? Okay, that's
Well,
very cool.
the thing is that whenever you find those luchador masks, so okay, so Suda worked on the Fire Pro wrestling games when he was younger, and the master always signed MS, and that's supposed to be, was it Master Smith, right, or something? It's a character from the Fire Pro games,
Master Smith, yeah,
or something like that. I forget. I don't know shit about Fire Pro, but anyway, Suda's clearly a big fan, so that's kind of where the wrestling inspiration, like there's always in Suda games, it seems like there's always like wrestling and baseball.
yeah, and, like punk music.
Yeah, punk music. Like there's these staples that it's like, yep, that's a Suda game. Like those are the things he likes. They're in there.
It almost sounds like some Japanese dude's like impression of America.
Okay, yeah,
Well,
kind of. He's
baseball's
like a reverse
big
weeb.
in
Yeah.
America.
It's big in Japan. Yeah.
Well, but it's like America, like baseball, it's,
Travis
and then
is kind of it's
punk
California,
rock. And yeah, California, and like it just it just seems very, very.
Yeah.
Sometimes it appears like it's just somebody's impression of us, which is funny.
I I don't know how the games have done overall in Japan, but I know the launch of this game. We're totally off track. We'll get back on track soon, but it's a nice little break. The launch of this game, he had like Don't We're Heroes themed toilet paper rolls and stuff, and he set up like a signing, and like I think like one person came and bought a game in Japan, but the game did like way better over here.
Yeah.
I'd imagine.
Yeah, and I wonder if a lot of that is because of like how much of a Western influence he like is on his stuff, because like he clearly enjoys like Western culture and media a lot. So yes. It could be detrimental for the game over there. But hey, we like it, so whatever.
Yeah.
You guys ready to move on to the next ranking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rank number 6. Pack up your beach balls. Get your blankets, guys, because we're going to the beach. We're going to go meet Holly Summers. Holly Summers. Do we know much about Holly Summers outside of just the boss fight?
Oh, no, not really. I think she was like a model at one point. I think that was on her like card, that card that you get when you unlock it or find it. But yeah, we don't know much about her.
Yeah, she's this one-legged. I don't know. I always thought she had more like a this character reminds me of like a Metal Gear Solid character.
Oh yeah.
I feel like he's kind
Yeah.
of that kind of style.
Yeah. Yeah, she has like a military theme, and uses weapons and digs traps, but she's also in a bikini, which reminds me of what's her name off of Five?
Quiet.
Like,
Oh.
Quiet.
Quiet.
I
Yeah.
was like
That was
playing it like
before Quiet. Yeah.
like replaying it recently. I was like, man, this kind of reminds me of Quiet.
Well, isn't her right leg a machine gun?
It's like a missile launcher or something. It's some sort of weapon.
Okay.
Yeah. So you fight her at the beach. You have to make your way through the beach. Funny interaction with Travis and Sylvia there, and then you have to make your way through a bunch of enemies and minefields and electric gates and all this stuff. And Travis is constantly stepping on mines throughout the stage. It's like every other cutscene.
Oh yeah.
Travis
That's
blows up.
That was my favorite part about it. It's like, because eventually you're thinking like, is there a way I can avoid this? And the answer is kind of no, because every time he enters a new gate, you're basically getting blown up. And the last one, he like starts to sip to, oh yeah, I made it, and he takes one step forward, boom. So, yeah, that was a nice little
Traps.
laugh.
Has anything to say about Holly Summers?
I think she's okay. I feel like this is where Travis's his code, his ideals are kind of put into question during this fight again, and she kind of chastises Travis for I guess having these ideas, because I guess she kind of sees them as belittling her, or like, I don't know, letting his guard down, I guess. She sees it as like a sign of weakness, I guess would be the word to say.
Yeah, this is the one where she makes that comment like, you can't kill women, or somebody does. It's either
Yeah.
her or
Yeah.
the.
Yeah, it's her. It's her.
Boss fight was fine. I thought it was funny. She always just scurried away and like, basically kept luring you into pitfalls, and then you have to like kind of press rapidly to get out. I don't remember too much. I think at one point she has like, it's like kind of like a homing thing that's like it kind of adds some exhilaration to the fight. There's a good one and a good little kind of like potential romance here, especially considering like, yeah, he is, the whole concept is he's going after Sylvia, but then he's like, he regrets not having gotten to know Holly Summers more. So potential dude 39 there.
I'm pretty sure. I'm sure there's some Holly Summers Rule 34 out there.
Definitely.
So I was still using playing this game as if it were a Wii game.
Oh,
And
you
this
haven't
was-
said that on the episode yet.
Oh yeah. So about let me see. It would have been by Speedbuster, I think. I realized you didn't actually have to play this game like a Wii game. Like you could just use a controller, and it was like infinitely better.
Wait, so you had gyro controls or something?
Oh, he
Yeah.
used the Joy-Cons.
Oh,
The Joy-Cons. Yeah, and it was, I was getting some major crampage going on. And then on Holly Summers, you have to like wiggle it every time you'd fall into the thing. If sometimes you had to hit A a bunch of times, that's great. Other times you had to wiggle your thing. I would never get out. It would just essentially be me blowing up, which didn't kill you, but it was annoying that it did damage and stuff. And you just,
wiggle your thing is actually kind of an accurate description, because like throughout the game, it kind of parodies the fact that you're using the Wiimote, and like even to charge your lightsaber, he just like, he's just
yeah,
whacking it.
clearly masturbating.
yeah.
In fact, in the second game, they changed the charge meter from like the battery looking thing you see. They changed that to like this. It looks like a dick with a smiley face, and when you're running out of battery, it gets like limp and sad. And then when you recharge it, it stands up straight. And it's like, oh yeah, okay, like
Very phallic.
Yeah, clearly it's okay. I like some of the dialogue with Travis and Holly Summers here. I think this is one of the best interactions in the game. It also, I think, is the point where Suda really says, like, "Hey, like this is the point of my story here." Is that they're talking about what it means to die and to kill in the beginning of the fight, and Travis says, that's not a good thing, seeking meaning and everything, especially killing. That's a bad habit of among smart little girls these days.
Mm-hmm.
That's Suda. That's Suda kind of being like, this is what I'm trying to get across. Like this is the idea.
And
of
Travis,
the game.
player, is just kind of like, whoop, just whoosh over his head.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's funny because I think on a lot of these I disagree with you guys.
Well,
I literally think that's the point of this game, which I also
Yeah.
agree stems from that phrase.
yeah, I
but-
agree, but it's like Travis is kind of like the insert of the player who doesn't usually care about that. They just want to get the action, but I know that's not everyone. It's kind of just a wide net, I guess.
I think the point, and it's ironic that we're doing this rank out and we're trying to pick what each rank means, but to me the point is that there is no point. Like they each theoretically mean something, but
Yeah.
Travis ignores the message entirely
Oh yeah.
and just keeps going because it's like, who the fuck cares? We're in a samurai game, so it's to me the game is like, oh, the first boss is like, you better not go down this road. He's like, I don't give a shit. Cutting down. Like the second boss is like, I'm the end. Misery is what awaits. He's like, oh yeah, I don't care. And like each one is trying to say something that would have been like a theme of a samurai movie, and then he just kills him. Like he doesn't give a shit. That to me is the whole game in a nutshell.
Now, and I think that's an interesting perspective because it is kind of supported. We'll talk about it later by the shift in the narrative through the last like 2 boss fights. We'll talk about that when the time comes, but because I think at that point itself, Suda also just says like, "Oh yeah, we'll just throw this story out the window." For like a lot of that as well. I don't know if it's I agree with part of what you're saying, Spencer, but I also think that there is something that he's trying to say with each boss because Suda, it's I don't know his full history. I probably should because I fucking think about Suda in this game like every day of my life. But like Suda himself, I know he worked as in like a funeral home for a long time and stuff, and was like very exposed to the ideas of death and grieving, and so I know a lot of that influences like what he creates. So I don't know. Ollie Summers.
I mean, that's not a meaningless quote. Like that. You shouldn't spend your whole life trying to make meaning out of everything. Like, I mean, and
It's just
fundamentally, I agree with that. And I mean, I think the way that maybe this is read, and I know Alex has talked to me off camera about like how No More Heroes was supposed to be like the last one. This is Suda's magnum opus. It's his statement. And so, you could tell there's a lot of like concepts and things he's trying to make statements about. Is it a cohesive whole? Maybe. We'll get there.
Debatable.
Yes.
Is it supposed to be a cohesive whole?
Yeah. And can you make meaning out of it? Yeah, you absolutely can. And can you get multiple interpretations? Yeah. I will come back to my full thoughts on like that package, when we're done. But I think in isolation, it is a moment. It's a powerful moment, and it has its relevance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I get what you're trying to say. It's like I guess life is how you make it kind of thing. Not like there is no meaning, but it's like how you define that meaning. This is getting really
which is really
Just kinda
deep for the No More Heroes map out.
But anyways, yeah. Holly
Um,
Summers.
Holly Summers.
What a babe.
What a babe. What a babe. She eats a grenade and blows her head off. And then Travis, we'll move on in a second, but there are also like the moment near the end where he asked for her name from Sylvia and she's like, Holly Summers, born? And he goes, no, just her name. He just needed her name. He wanted to pay his respects. So then he dumps the body. Moving on to rank number 5. This is the best boss fight in the game. Let's shake.
Because you don't have to do anything.
Plays itself.
Oh my gosh, this is like such a cock tease from Suda, because it's like you go through the level and like the long ass annoying tunnel, and you're just going down this fucking tunnel fighting some dudes every once in a while. And then you finally get to the boss fight and you see Lit Shake on what's his, I don't know, he's got the
Big
big
brain.
machine, and
It's a mother brain.
yeah, he's like riding up the road, and then they're like setting up for this big moment, this huge boss fight. Is like this big countdown and stuff's about to get real, and Travis is like charging and stuff, and then what happens?
Oh snap!
The other dude that we don't know yet destroys him.
Another character pops in and kills him.
Yes, this unnamed character that we totally didn't mention.
Yeah, we totally haven't said his name yet.
Yeah, just forget about that.
He pops in. He has it's like a pinkish purplish looking beam katana or beam sword. He pops in, cuts him down, and has an interaction with Travis, and you find out this man's name is Henry. And before they can really get into fighting, Sylvia stops him, and Henry leaves. And that's the interaction. The huge cock tease of a moment, because Liz Shake's like setting up this huge event with the fucking thing. Oh my gosh, the funniest shit. So a long time ago, me and Damon did a playthrough of the PS3 version of No More Heroes, and he had never played the game before. So it was me. I played through it in a total of 6 hours, and Damon was just watching me. And when we got to this moment, and you see them off in the distance, Damon's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna ride my baked potato down the road," and I was like, "That does look like a baked potato, doesn't it?" So now whenever I see Let's Shake on that fucking thing, I always think of a baked potato. Does anybody have anything to say about Let's Shake?
I liked the design of the guy riding him. He kind of had this punk rock look. Looked like a character out of God Hand. Another great game.
He had a Virtual Boy.
Oh yeah, he had a Virtual Boy on his little VR headset thing.
Let's Shake puts the weird kind of poison in my brain. So, as an RPG player, I've been tricked before, and now when I get into a boss fight and the boss is too difficult, sometimes I'm like, am I supposed to lose here? And then I just wait to see if that happens. And sometimes it actually does happen where it's like you're just supposed to lose a fight, so the boss is inherently strong. So that is like in my brain when I play RPGs. Now with Let's Shake, I'm like, is this just going to end before it even begins? And so now when I watch big boss fights where they like charge up and do like all these crazy things, I'm like, is this just going to end like immediately?
Yeah,
so,
it was a fun little subversion.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Say anything?
No, the name is a funny parody of the fact it was on the Wii. Like, Let's Shake.
That's true. That's
I didn't even think of that.
I have never thought of that, but yeah, I have never thought about that before. That is hilarious. And like, you don't really know anything about him. He doesn't like have dialogue. He's just like, "Are you ready? Yeah, let's get started." And then like that's it. Like that's the dialogue. Like there's no character here. I think the point is the point's literally just to introduce Henry and be like, "Yeah, here's Henry. Bye," and be like, "Who the fuck was that?" So that's the point of the fight. I just thought it was a funny. I always like the idea that like Henry comes in and kills him, and Sylvia's like, "Yeah, it counts."
Now who's Henry? Alan?
We'll find out later.
Yeah.
Oh, we weren't supposed to bring up his name yet. It's like Voldemort.
Well, he says his name here.
Yeah.
Oh, he says it here. Okay.
Yeah. He says his name's Henry. Because then he starts.
My name's
like,
Henry.
I find it hilarious because he's about to explain who the hell he is to Travis, and then Travis cuts him off, and he's like mimicking his like Irish accent. He's like, "Well, Sir Henry," he's like, "Blah blah blah." He starts like mocking him, and then like if Travis would have just shut the fuck up, he would have figured out like who the hell this guy even was like then. But Travis was like had to be fucking egotistical Travis, and do what he does. So.
Right.
Fuck that up. So moving on to the next rank. I'm a which one of you want to say it? Because I can say it, but I want to know if one of you want to try to say his full name.
Harvey Moilovich Volodarsky?
It's close.
I don't know. I just call him Harvey.
Harvey Moistowicz Volodarsky.
It's Moisivich, based on how you spelled it.
Moistovich. Well, I just copied that from Guide, so
Oh,
I just copied
yeah.
the list of the bosses. I didn't spell that. Harvey Moisowicz Volodarsky. What a great name. I always found it hilarious because, like, we haven't talked about it, but whenever you enter the fights or, the levels, it'll be like rank whatever, and it'll be like the voice comes over and says, like, so let's shake or whatever. I found it Harvey's is the most hilarious because it spells the name on the ground below Travis. Yeah. But it's like Harvey Moisowicz Volodarsky. It just keeps going. You're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So this is another level where Travis is going to take the train, which is hilarious. I always love the fact that this game is just like a city in California, and the places Travis goes are just places. This isn't like a fantasy world. So Travis is taking a train. Sylvia has bought them tickets to a show. They are going to a show by Harvey. Harvey is a magician. And before you get to Harvey, this is the weirdest part of the game. Travis falls asleep on the train, and you play a arcade shooter game.
Weird.
Yeah. I never understood why he just falls asleep. Like, why he doesn't like pull out like a Game Boy or something. Or
Yeah, I don't know. I guess. I don't know. It's like when you play a game so many times, sometimes you dream about it.
Yeah.
But
like, is this supposed to be a game that he plays? Like at home or something?
I think so. Yeah, because you can play it after you...
you like unlock it.
Yeah. So maybe it's just like him...
Oh, I was always confused by that because, spoiler alert, in the second game, he gets a mech that is the mech from that little shoot 'em up game. But I thought... I was always like, is that just like his mech in the game? But I guess he built the mech based on the game.
Yeah.
I guess that makes more sense.
A couple of connections I'm making. I mean, every time you leave your house and like a new rank opens up, it plays that little arcade jingle. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. And then also every time you go up in the ranks, that's the same overlay. So there is some connection there.
Yeah. Like the little little thing in it, like it plays like the victory jingle, like, which I always find to be hilarious, especially after like a really emotional moment, like with Holly, where Travis is like really somber and buries her, then it's like rank up.
Little arcade music. This is a little personal aside, just me kind of bragging a bit, but as a kid, I made this stupid comic. I remember mentioning it before in one of my videos, and I actually had Travis in it, and this is before No More Heroes 2. I actually had him have the mech, so...
Oh, you created it, so Suda owes you.
Yes, right.
Suda is not Japan. Suda is DZD. We're ranking out No More Heroes with the official Suda 51, aka...
That's right, I'm actually Suda. I've just...
Oh my god!
What?
How amazing that would be if I've been interacting with Suda all this time. He's like, nice music in that video. And I was like, yeah, thanks, man.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'm just like, man, I hope they like put this in the next game. He's like, yeah, keep talking.
Yeah.
Does anybody have anything to say about the shoot 'em up game before I talk about the boss?
It's just a fun little bullet hell. It's just kind of a little diversion. Nothing really much to say from my end, I guess.
It made me think of you a lot.
Aw. This whole game should, because it's my favorite game.
Well, because it reminded me of like Nier.
Oh,
where
yeah.
It just takes moments to like completely change the genre of the game, just for like a minute.
Well, thank you, Spencer.
So this must be something that Alex likes. It's in all of his favorite games.
Leave me alone. I like shooting things. Teddy, as a fan of shoot 'em up games, what did you think?
I'm just glad it gave me infinite lives.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I mean, as far as diversions go within the game, it wasn't one of my favorites. It was pretty random. I was just like, okay, again, spare me the hack and slash, so I'll take it. But I also didn't take it seriously.
Yeah, I think it's just I think it's just Suda being like, all right, I'll just give you something else to do for a minute.
Yeah, it's. I mean, again, it's a nice diversion. So
Harvey Moistowicz Volodarski. I say his full name every time. He is a magician. You and Sylvia show up to his show. Sylvia's very horny at this fucking time of the story, by the way. She's like, she calls Travis while she's getting like a body rub, and they're going to the theater, and she's like on his arm and stuff. And Travis is like, oh God, like I don't know. Like, Travis doesn't know what to do in that situation. Travis doesn't been with a lady like that. He's a fucking loser. But
Yeah.
very very funny moment. You get called up on stage, even though there's only two of you in there. Does anybody else find that weird? That like there's clapping and shit, but there's only you and Sylvia sitting in the audience.
Yeah, it's very David Lynch, very surreal. I feel like it was more just done for graphical limitations. But I
Yeah,
think it worked very well.
probably.
yeah.
Yeah, because it's like on the Wii, so you probably couldn't fill the whole thing, the audience. But like, yeah, I always found it to be so bizarre when I'm playing that area. Travis goes up on stage to interact and do a magic trick with Harvey and cuts him in half, whatever. And Travis is all right, and then they have their boss fight. And I think this one is a pretty like what Suda's trying to say with Harvey is pretty direct. But I want to get your guys' interpretations of this fight and what you thought about it.
Yeah, I feel like Harvey is this, like, I guess, commentary on, I guess, how we view entertainers in the entertainment industry as being very cutthroat. And I feel like No More Heroes 2 kind of leans into that more, but at the same time, not really. But yeah, I liked his, I like how he switched around your controls with his magic, and, you know, it was an interesting set piece, even though the boss fight itself was just okay.
I don't have a ton to say on this one, but I will say that maybe that clears it up a little bit. That it could have been just limitations on the Wii, why the audience was empty. But for whatever reason, when I was playing, I got like serious Dr. Peace vibes from it, where it's like playing to an empty crowd.
Yeah,
and that might not have been intentional, based on that, but
maybe not.
hard to say.
I don't know that I looked at this through a framework of meaning. You know, again, kind of going back to the Holly Summers bit,
So
but I guess, I mean, my thing is I really looked at this from a gameplay perspective. Like, I just like the variety and the type of bosses that you're fighting. And I think this one had some engaging moments, like where you have to like do things within the box to get out of the box on time, the switch up of the floor mechanics. And then he's got some deadly attacks. And so like, as you're getting closer to the end of the fight, it does become quite a bit challenging.
Yeah, this is always a fight that if you know, like, because there are mechanics in this game that the game does not tell you about because whatever, and including the idea of the charge mechanics and also the power up mechanics, which I don't know if you guys ever noticed, but sometimes you have like a 7 on the bottom of your screen. You can like activate like a screen nuke move with that. The game never tells you. So there is a charge mechanic where you can charge your beam katana in a low stance and then do like a really powerful like move with that, especially if you have with the later katanas. And I'll tell you what, for this boss especially, that shit is useful because it cuts off a good chunk of health from like all bosses if you can land it. And this guy's an asshole. He has some dirty tricks. So I used to try to do that and just kill him as fast as I can and get the hell out of there because I hate like having to do like the mini games where you're like stuck in the box or like where he turns the screen upside down and shit. Like this is probably honestly I think I like the ideas and the character himself and stuff, but in terms of the boss fight, I think this is probably my least favorite one.
Yeah, it was kind of mediocre.
It's no let's shake.
There's no let's shake. You know, he's a master of boss fights.
I can't wait to rank this at the end.
Rank the rankings.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I agree with what Dee was saying about Harvey just being like a reflection of like violence and entertainment and stuff. I think it's kind of more of a service level, if anything, with this character. So, not much else to say about Harvey Moistowicz Volodarski. What a name. Moving on to rank number 3. Rank number 3 is Speedbuster. What a name. Speedbuster lives in an abandoned city called Speed City. Which I always forget about that because they've never mentioned that ever again in any of the other No More Hero stuff. So, all right. She's apparently an old witch who lives in Speed City. Travis has to just take a bus.
Run down freaking
Take a bus.
city.
Take a bus to Speed City, a city that nobody lives in. So why is there a bus that goes there?
We have failed to mention it, but we have to now that whenever you were in Travis's motel room, you have an amount of things you can do in there. You can go to the bathroom, which is how you save. You can change your clothes, change your katanas, watch wrestling, play that game with the shooter. Look at trading cards and all this stuff. And one of the things you could do is play with your cat named Jean. Jean is a little kitty. When Travis is leaving for this boss fight, Jean follows him out the door. That's an integral moment of the story because whenever you get to Speed City, you find Speedbuster is having a showdown with Thunder Ryu, your master, the guy that's been training you at the gym, and Jean shows up as well because she followed Travis, and Jean gets him killed because. Like that's like one of those moments that like when I first played it I was like, what is happening? Like, did that cat just what is happening?
Yeah, it's just the stupidest thing ever.
Yeah, he's like, oh, it's just a little kitty. Ah! Just because like Speedbuster, we don't see her yet, but all we see is this giant fucking laser or this giant blast looking thing, and Thunder Ryu is like trying to like, I don't know, like guard himself from it and stuff. So Jean throws him off guard, and it gets him killed. And that's where we first meet Speedbuster. I was going to say about Speedbuster.
I'm not sure what to really say she represents. I think this is just kind of, I don't know, me. But I feel like she kind of represents more of just like American gun culture, because she's just like this old lady with this giant laser that wouldn't exist in our world, obviously. But I feel like that's kind of the funny little juxtaposition of that.
I love the interaction whenever he's like, are you rank number 3? She's like, what? I didn't hear you. And like the whole time she's like setting up her giant laser from like, it's like turns from a shopping cart to a giant laser. She's like, what? I didn't hear what you said. And like stupid interaction between her and Travis. And then finally when she has the giant laser set up, she's like, oh yeah, I am number 3. She's like pans down this giant fucking gun.
I like this fight. It's completely different than the others. It's not even really a fight with her like in close quarters. It's just you trying to get to her and just chopping your way on the outskirts of this weird city. I liked it. That was fun.
I mean, you know what? I'm going to come back to the meaning thing, but honestly, this game to me is just jokes. Like, this is a joke. Like, this is funny. You're fighting an old lady who's firing a fucking can, and you don't even fight her. It's just you, like, you escape, like, the big, huh? And, like, you keep going up, and, making your way, break down the door, hustle in. Oh, you got to fight some enemies. And so it was a laugh to me that this old lady with a shopping cart who can't hear you is firing a fucking, cannon beam at you. And you have to, like, hammer the fucking Joy-Con and, stop it from toppling you.
Yeah, I agree with that. I also, this is the boss fight that I've always struggled to like fully find a meaning in because it is just like other than like serving to kill off Thunder Ryu and stuff like there's I don't know if there's that much of a meaning with this character.
Probably
Buzz
isn't.
Fight.
It's just like I said, I was just interpreting it because
Well,
what you
like
make of it.
I've always thought about that, and I've always thought about the idea of like like anime and like shit like that always have like characters with big blast attacks and stuff.
Yeah.
But she's an old lady with this big gun. Like she just, I always like the idea that that's just how she became rank 3, was she just had a big gun. She was just like, like okay, let's fight. Okay, that's it. Like I win.
If I wanted to desperately reach for meaning, I would say it's probably about destruction, and you could make some inferences that the city was destroyed by people like her that just shot cannons recklessly, and that the whole city's been leveled to the ground, and that's their commentary on using weapons. I don't know. That would be my if you're desperately needed this to mean something.
I need this.
Or
Old lady, need something.
What do you mean, Speedbuster?
What do you mean,
Mean. Yeah,
I've been
it's
like-
probably just a fun post from Suda.
It's that scene from It's Always Sunny. It's the Pepe Sylvia scene. It's just me
Oh, yeah.
like in a room with a board and string and pictures. I'm just like, what do you mean, Speedbuster?
What do you mean, Speedbuster should be part of our lexicon from now on?
What do you mean, Speedbuster? I gotta know. Yeah, it is a fun level. You have to weave in and out of these buildings on the side and don't get blasted. And finally, when you make your way up there, you hit the telephone poles and they fall over on the cannon, which I don't know. I don't understand why nobody's done that before. Travis isn't the smartest guy in the world, so would think somebody else would do it before him, but whatever.
Yeah.
This also means Travis violates the principle that Holly Summers projected onto him because he kills her. So.
Oh yeah. This is the first
Yeah.
woman kill.
But it's okay. She's ugly.
Yeah, she doesn't count.
She's an ugly old grandma. Which, not saying old grandmas can't be hot, because once again, Naomi is like 60.
Right. When you have Katana Lady,
So-
I mean,
Yeah.
you got your choices.
Who he doesn't kill.
Yeah.
Think about that.
It's basically
Yeah,
a Kia
I-
commercial. You could get with
I could
this,
think of,
or you could get with that.
Yeah, I can think of two good reasons why he doesn't kill Naomi.
Oh yeah, that.
Her
I
katana
want that.
making skills.
Yeah, because her katana making skills, and I don't know, she's a good friend.
Yeah,
She also
that's
makes
good.
him that Megan too. So she also, I don't want to. Okay, so I don't know if we're ever going to get around to playing the other ones, or if we do, it'll be a very long time from now. If not, but I do want to mention, and we'll probably forget this in the third game, but in the third game, Naomi is a tree, and she's a literal skill tree. Like, she's so old, she turned herself into a tree to survive for some reason. I don't know how that works, and she's your skill tree for the game. That's fucking phenomenal.
Does she still have big tits?
Oh, she's a tree now.
Oh no. She's like the tree from, I don't know if anyone's seen this movie, but there's this movie called The Last Unicorn.
Oh yeah,
Boobies.
she's just a big tree.
Wait. The last unicorn has a tree with tits.
Yeah.
Teddy's in.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
That is a very, very particular fetish.
That is a very particular fetish.
I hope one day we do 2, 3, and Strikes Again at some point in the future. But in case that they never comes, or it comes way down the line, I just wanted to mention that she turns herself into a tree, and she's your literal skill tree. That's my mind still does not fully comprehend that. Speedbuster cuts her head off, and yeah. Moving on. Rank number 2. We're going back to the baseball stadium, boys. Get your gloves, get your mitts, get your bats, because we're going to go see Bad Girl. But this is much different than Dr. Peace, because Travis just decides to ride his bike in to the stadium.
Yeah.
Mows everybody down.
Mhm.
I always fuck up here. I always end up having to get off the bike.
Oh, in the
Ever do that?
stadium.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have had to do that a few times. I
No,
think
no
you can do it
drops.
like without. Yeah,
Yeah, I did
you,
it.
you could do it without getting off the bike. Yeah,
Mhm.
but I always end up getting like fucking up and having to do it on foot for the rest of it.
I think like the key bike strategy is really just like braking at corners slightly and then
Bike
turning.
bike strat with majority.
Hey guys, let me talk to you about Travis Bike. Here's what you need to do. Take your bike into the stadium. Once you get on, don't get off. You don't have to. That's an urban myth. Actually, you could just do loop to loop around the stadium. And meanwhile, there's a pitcher with a gun. You should aim for him first because he's in the middle. See if you can go for 5 minutes without falling. Let me know how you did.
Yeah, we got a Teddy challenge.
I love how 90s that sounded.
I would
Just
love.
imagine, like this butt rock playing in the background.
Yeah.
Whoa, dude, you gotta
I would-
spin around and hit all the enemies or something like that. I don't know.
We should start doing the Teddy challenge each episode. We should have a Teddy. And for the viewers at home, we have the Teddy challenge for the week.
Today, guys, we're gonna try to not get off our bike playing No More Heroes.
Beat no more. Oh my gosh, it's those videos. It's like, can I beat Mario 64 without jumping or whatever? It's like, can I beat No More Heroes without getting off the bike? Every boss fight, Travis just mows him down with his giant motorcycle.
Yeah. Turns out it was easier than ever.
We cleared Speedbuster by hitting her with the bike. So after the baseball stadium bit where you ride around and kill people with your bike, you go underneath the baseball stadium. Oh, fun fact here, I didn't know that this was what was underneath baseball stadiums. Apparently, underneath baseball stadiums, there's a room with a hot girl in a tutu with a bat hitting gimps on a conveyor belt.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
Do they have baseball in Kentucky?
Yeah.
You haven't been...
I didn't know. I've never been under the stadium, but now I kind of want to.
That's the VIP room, baby.
Alex is gonna come to the next game with like a sign that says like "Show me your secrets."
Yeah, where's Bad Girl?
Yeah,
Sign me up.
show me bad girl.
So Bad Girl is she's a bad girl. She's I don't know what to say about this. This skinny blonde lady in, like I said, like a pink tutu looking dress type thing, hitting BDSM looking dudes on a conveyor belt with a bat, and she's drinking beer. What do you guys think about the interaction and boss fight with Bad Girl?
Well, I don't think that there was really much meaning outside of, oh, now we're seeing just how twisted and messed up these people are. I liked her boss fight. It was pretty simple, outside of like the one hit kill move she has, where she like pretends to cry, and just beats you to death.
Oh God,
You
don't remind
approach.
me.
Yeah. I didn't even really fall for it that much. It was just like, because when you run away, the camera like switches, so you end up like running towards her. It's really awkward. I don't know if they fixed that in the Switch version, but I remember in the Wii version, the camera.
Not
was
really.
weird. Oh, okay.
You can recenter with the right shoulder button, but I always forget it. And when I'm trying to figure out a button, I just remember, oh yeah.
But yeah, she was a interesting fight. Travis actually gave up, even though he dealt her like a mortal blow. She like stabbed her through the stomach. But yeah, it was crazy.
There's bad girls before bad girls are cool. You know, she's not like, you know, kind of like anti-hero or something. Like I was just like, I think art style wise, I like got super like Harley Quinn kind of vibes, and like I guess even concept of like, you know, bad girl, right? In this one, she's actually like a sadist, I guess, or and then these guys are masochists. You can tell they're loving it because they fight for her. It's not something it's not a concept I particularly like, but I think that in terms of variety, it's a decent variety of the characters. Hated the one-hit kill move. That was so cheap, but once I figured it out after, you know, getting dropped the first time, I didn't make that mistake again.
Definitely one of the more memorable fights. Pretty creepy at the end. Yeah, he like gives out. He says she's still like whacking him with a baseball bat while she's been impaled with the sword. Which, I mean, there's a lot of symbolism on that, but we're not that kind of podcast. So,
Yeah, she's like literally like on top of him.
yeah. Just anyway, that's for a different podcast.
Yeah.
But she dies like in a very suggestive pose on him. But he's like, I give up. Like, you're crazy. I don't want to fight you anymore. So very, very memorable. But the fight itself was probably more frustrating than anything. Getting like those guys like flinged at you, or really like she hits them with a baseball bat and they fly at you. That was kind of annoying. I mean, you just got to practice rolling or just walking to the side. But sometimes the camera, like Dee Zee D was saying, doesn't quite catch up with you correctly, and so I'll be focused on her, on my target, but I'm backing up because I know she's about to hit a body at me. But I back up slightly too far, and then the camera completely loses focus on it, and now I'm like turned the opposite direction. I'm like, oh great, so now there's a body flying at me from behind that I have no idea where it's coming from.
I think at this point, I agree with what Dee was saying as well. I think this is just like showing how twisted like the assassins can get and like what this can do to you and stuff. And I think at this point, Bad Girl is so cartoony and so like it's like, again, this is a Wii game. It's like a very violent Wii game, and I know for somebody like Teddy doesn't really like a lot of, and Teddy, I don't know if you can attest to this enough, but you don't really like a lot of like violent games and violent media, correct? Like,
well, I mean,
really
there's a difference between violence and kind of like obscene graphic violence. You know, I mean, violence, I don't care.
That's what I meant.
You know,
I meant like graphic violence.
Yeah, like Mad World. It's not a game I'd go for. You know.
Yeah, and I think at this point, like, you know, like this is like known for like at the time for being like the goriest game on the Wii. But I think at this point where you get the Bad Girl, it's so absurd. Like the violence and like the shit you've been doing, it's so absurd that like, yeah, she's literally throwing gimps at you like from it's so stupid. It's kind of like it's just kind of like loses all of its like punch now because it's like, yeah, like whatever.
Yeah, it's borderline Looney Tunes like slapstick,
yeah,
almost.
Yeah,
that's why the violence doesn't bother me in these games.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, because like also whenever we haven't talked about that, whenever you kill people, they like explode into blood and coins. It's like a shower of blood and coins,
just like real life.
Yeah, what? What, Spencer?
Now that I think about that joke was also very dark because it's also true. But again, something we don't need to touch on in this podcast.
So, yeah, Batgirl is the craziest character and the craziest fight probably I think in the game, which it's funny because we have one more rank to go. I should say.
Before we get there, so this is where I don't know what you call them, but like there's parts where bosses get impervious to your hits, and like during the parts where she's swinging the guys at you, you know, you can't hit her. So I was just taking every hit I could get. I was really going for the wrestling moves, and so my girlfriend was watching me play, and so every time I would get the wrestling move, I'm glad that Spencer brought up that they were so aptly named because I don't know any of them. So every time I got a wrestling move on her, I'd be like, suplex, and just drop her. I would say it over and over, and since I had to fight her again, I probably said suplex like 20 times.
Yeah, she also lights her bat on fire. We didn't mention that. But,
yeah.
She does a lot of things.
Yeah, she's a bad girl.
In a very, very bad girl.
Technically, Travis lost. Interesting a bit at the end of this is that Sylvia usually shows up at the end of the fights to congratulate you and tell you like, you're whatever ranked, you won and shit. She doesn't show up. It's just the two cleaner guys that show up to clean the bodies. They show up and they're just like, congratulations, like you're number 2. It's kind of like a weird red flag, because the next rank has a cutscene beforehand, and before the next rank, Travis decides to call the association because I guess maybe he couldn't get a hold of anybody or hasn't heard anything, or Sylvia's been kind of flaky. I don't know. So Travis decides to call the association, and he calls this phone number that he was given, and he talks to a lady who is revealed to be Sylvia's mother. So this is where the game starts to spiral into what the hell territory. The UAA is a scam. Sylvia Crystal set the entire thing up. You've been doing all of this for nothing. I guess she's been keeping all the money that you give to her for these ranking fights or whatever they're supposed to be. And she's a professional con artist. That's what's happening now. And you're talking to Sylvia's mom, and she says, well, you're at, she asked him what rank he's at. He's like, rank 2. And he's like, well, you got one more to go. Like, might as well see it through, right? Like, might as well finish the, what you started. And this is, so many, not only questions, but so many, it's such a weird, like, last bit of a game to, like, just do that. What do you guys think of the twist here?
I thought it was interesting. It was pretty interesting. I wasn't sure how they were gonna, like, end the game, but I knew that it was. Well, at the time, I knew it was just going to be a one and done thing, because usually that's what Suda does. But then we got 2 and 3 and all that.
I was fine with it, just because, like, I think that the whole time I was kind of sus on Sylvia, and I knew it wasn't gonna, like, work out. So, I mean, I think the whole concept of, like, a con artist for a date. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, you're killing people for the chance to be with a Russian lady. Like, so I don't, it was over the top. But I mean, I thought it was funny. It's funny. Like, the last one's like, why didn't I think of this at the beginning? Like, calling her mom. And so that was fine. I think the direction it goes from here is where it really starts to go, like, outlandish. But
at the time it was kind of eye rolling, because it's like, it's just kind of outlandish, but in retrospect, I think it's kind of genius, because to me, part of these movies is that it's not always about money. It's not always about glory. It's about honor. So in a way, they're like, there is no, like, big reward or anything at the end. It's kind of pointless because she's just been conning you. So do you want to keep going? And in a movie where they were doing this, or in some grand epic, they'd be like, I have to finish this job because it's out of honor, out of respect for this thing. But Travis he still does it. So he actually follows the hero's path, but he doesn't. He's just, like, being peer pressured into it almost. They're just, like, stupid reasons for him to even be there. And he just goes through it because it's a freaking video game. He's like, all right, yeah, I guess I'll just keep going. I am number 2. So, so it's just more nonsense. So
Yeah, it's like,
funny.
At that point, being number 2 just means nothing. But he's just like, well, I mean, I already come this far, so whatever. And also, like, I think this is the point in the story where Suda, and there's a couple more points. I'll point this out where Suda was like, this story we got here, let's just, like, throw that out the window. Let's just get that out of here. Let's just fucking
Complete retcon.
Yeah, just like that. Yeah, that's a good point. Is that the second game? This is retconned. This never happened.
Wait, really?
Yeah, because how are they going to follow this up with a second game?
Yeah.
So he was like,
I was curious.
That. Yeah, like, he was like, let's just ignore that, and because, like, it doesn't matter, so let's just ignore that and act like the UAA was real in the second game. So,
how do they follow it up in Florida?
Yeah,
tries to get with a British
Florida.
lady. Has to fight like 10 aquatic animals.
I mean, you do fight alligators in 3, so.
You suplex them.
Yeah, nice.
Suplex an alligator. Suplex. So you find out everything's a scam and Sylvia isn't whatever, and whatever. Who cares? You go to your first, the first ranking fight, and Travis's bike was stolen. What a shitty thing to do. But it is California though.
I do wish I had more Lavikov balls.
The sprint.
They took the bike, and I thought it was so insulting. I had to do the to get to the bridge. Oh no! It took like 10 minutes. I was like, this game is insulting my intelligence right now.
I got some serious Shadow of the Colossus vibes. When like at the end of Shadow of the Colossus, when aggro, quote unquote, dies.
When your motorcycle dies.
Yeah, your motorcycle's gone. So when you press X, it just goes like burnt.
Oh yeah, because we haven't mentioned that because anytime on the map you can call Bishop and he just brings you your bike. He's like, "Hey, Travis, here you go." So yeah, you can't do that anymore. You have to follow the blood trails or whatever it was. It was blood, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Was it?
There were blood trails.
I
for
just had
somebody else. That was when you had to go to Let's Shake.
I forget. Okay, it wasn't blood for this. It was you had to follow something, right?
Mine just had a thing on the map, I thought.
Yeah.
Oh,
Maybe
okay, that's what it
just
was.
Like a waypoint.
Just to be clear, I've played this game like 20 times, but I didn't replay it for this. I played like half of it, but I know more than I need to know. I just forgot about that. So I got it mixed up. The blood was for Let's Shake. You just went to the spot on the map. Anyway, so you go to the spot on the map where your bike is. You hop on your bike and you ride your bike out of San Destroy on the highway. Which, why didn't he just take his bike to Speed City? Whatever. So he rides his bike. And there's a bike riding section, and you have to jump a bridge. Do you guys like the bridge jump?
It was okay. I don't know. It just felt like they wanted to add another like bike section to it because it felt, I guess, underutilized.
Actually, I was happy that I didn't have to do more like hack and slash. This kind of like what's the Genesis game? Road Rash. Give me kind of like Road Rash vibes, so I enjoyed that. I had to redo the section because I didn't realize, like, I was, I did the zoom, and then I thought I had to time the jump for when I was on the thing, but you're supposed to press it before you go off the ramp. I actually had trouble with that job, too, with timing the jump. So I had to redo the entire bike section for that. It was fine. I didn't hate it,
I love that job where you have to jump off the ramp into the ocean. Because, like, what kind of job is that?
Best kind of job.
So I've played this game throughout the Wii, the PS3, and the Switch. I forget because the PS3 has different stuff. I just want to ask a question real fast. Is there a side game in the Switch version that you guys saw where you have to mow down people in the form of like bowling pins? Is that a thing on this one? No. Okay, that must be PS3 only because the PS3 version adds a few things. There's a side mission in the PS3 game where there's people like regular NPCs just like stood up in the shape of bowling pins, and you have to mow them down with the bike. And when you do it, it makes like a bowling pin sound, like a bowling like you knocked them over. And the first time I ever saw that, I was just fucking cackling at how stupid it was. and I forgot if it was in this version or not. That's a real shame they didn't add that because that's brilliant.
I've been perfect with the Joy-Cons too.
Yeah, we bowling.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we both. Yeah. See, they could have tapped into a whole audience there. The Wii Sports fans.
See, No More Heroes has bowling too.
Yeah, people bowling.
People.
So yeah, you jump the bridge and you're on your way. You're in a spooky forest and you're on the way to a castle, which is like totally like the end of a game.
And you have to look out for Thunder Rio's ghost pointing the right direction to go in.
Yeah. But
the problem is it'll happen during the fight. So like I'm playing like in handheld mode, and so I have to like really look, and you can barely make out his hand. I think that was left.
it gives me the like Zelda vibes with the Lost Woods. We had like have to like go certain directions and stuff. Like, well, it's a trope in a lot of games. That's what I think of as Lost Woods. It's like we get to pick which direction they go, but yeah, Thunder Rio's there to point your way. He's a Jedi ghost, I guess. I don't know. Fuck.
You know what I get? It's kind of like that Disney vibe where it's like I don't know. You stumble out of a forest and you end up in like Beauty and the Beast castle or something.
Anything to say about the forest segment?
Yeah, it just felt like Suda put a lot of the tropes that you see in a lot of games of kind of wandering in this either a forest or some sort of like environment that you don't know where you're going, and you have this guide kind of guiding you. It was all right. I feel like a lot of the overworld stages are kind of hit or miss. Some have interesting ideas, but none of them are really utilized in a way that I think would have been great. Outside of like the whole thing with Dr. Peace and the baseball sections, I would have been more happy to see, I don't know, something done with that for more of the other characters as well. Like, I don't know, Destroy Man, you're fighting like superhero mini bosses or something. They're like doing stupid fighting poses. I don't know, something to like add to the stages and the characters or the bosses.
I thought the pacing was off. I liked the motorcycle part, and it was just pretty exhilarating. And then, like, why couldn't you just land from the motorcycle into the boss fight?
Yeah.
It just seemed weird that it made me then trek and fight like 2 or 4 enemies. I don't know. I was disappointed in that, but it's still fine.
You do get one of your famous phone calls from Sylvia, who is encouraging you to take on this final battle. Why? Well, I guess we'll find out. And something I didn't mention earlier, whenever Teddy first mentioned the first call you get in Death Metal, is that on the original Wii version, the call came through the Wii remote speaker, which was also like, that's just such a Suda idea. It's just like, what if we just like make them like hold the Wiimote to their head like a phone?
That's clever. That's clever. I like that.
Yeah, it was cool. Like I remember, like that was one of the things. Whenever I like people were like, the Wii's for babies, I would show them No More Heroes, and I would be like playing it and stuff. And I'd be like, check this part out, and she calls in the Wiimote, and I'm like, they're like, are they talking to you through the controller? I'm like, yeah. Like, it's like looking back, stupid, but like at the time, it was like, yeah, the Wii's not for babies. I can talk to this hot girl on my Wiimote.
Well, it's interesting because they took that concept and that's used on the PS4 and PS5 a lot. They put a lot of sounds into that controller.
Yeah, so that's true. But they don't have you hold up the PS4 controller to your head like a phone.
Some of us do. Don't judge.
Oh, hello.
I ask my PS5 what it's doing all the time.
So Sylvia encourages you to take on the last battle, and you're going to go take on the last battle. So you're walking. You don't even go to the castle. You're walking in front of the castle in this big, like, desert.
Was there a castle? I didn't even notice.
Way in the back.
Oh, okay.
It's back there. Maybe they didn't have time to make a castle. I don't know. But they're in the desert, which is where Spencer lives. And you're going to fight your final boss fight, the Dark Star. You guys tell me about Dark Star?
He's just a Star Wars reference. That's about it.
He's like, I'm your dad, and it's like, how could he be your dad? He's like, oh yeah, doesn't make sense. It's very bizarre.
Dark Star.
That doesn't make sense. That's No More Heroes.
I thought it was Black Shadow from F-Zero GX.
Oh, that's a deep cut.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this old man comes up and he's like, "I'm your true father, Travis," and it's obviously a Star Wars reference. And he pulls a giant beam katana thing out of his head. And I remember the first time I ever played this fight. I don't know if you guys felt the same way here, but I remember being like, "This is fucking stupid." Like,
yeah,
this is the end of the game.
That's how I felt through most of the game. So this is nothing new.
Well, okay, but I meant like at the point where I was like,
Yeah.
this is the last boss. Okay, like well, whatever. Like I remember that moment when I first played it because he was like, "I'm your father. Like you see it to be true," and I'm like, "What?"
Well, I thought he was going to unmask, but he ended up just pulling a stupid lightsaber out of his head. I'm like,
Yep.
come on, I want
He
you
Yeah.
to
did take
face.
the mask off, actually. Yeah, he took off his like the face mask part, I think.
The plate,
sword
yeah,
he
whatever
did.
it was.
But he didn't. But there was no face.
The other was. He just had like
Yeah, it
a
was.
generic old guy face.
Yeah, the old man. Like,
Yeah, he just looked like some old dude. But I can see Teddy's point is that, well, and that's part of what they were doing is that it wasn't a face that you would like recognize as anything. It's just
Yeah.
like some old freaking dude is like, what is the point of this?
Once again, this is just me ascribing meaning to something that's just nothing. But Suda said that he was a fan of this director named Alejandro Jodorowsky, and he doesn't really exactly look like the guy Darkstar, but he kind of just reminds me of that because he was inspired by his movie El Topo to make this game.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So,
I'm
I
hearing
don't know,
about that before.
Yeah, this is just me once again putting my interpretation on nothing.
Well, before you can fight Darkstar, somebody kills him from behind. And it's a lady, a scantily dressed lady, because they all going to be scantily dressed, except for Speedbuster. I don't know what she means. Still, scantily dressed lady who is named Jean, and it is revealed through a bit of dialogue that is fast forwarded that Jean is the whole reason you even went on this escapade in the first place. Dee, do you want to explain who the hell Jean is? Like Travis even says, "Who the hell are you?"
Okay, so there's this fast forward sequence where she explains her backstory, but you can watch like a slowed down version of it on YouTube. And basically, she's like her sister, or Travis's sister. She killed Travis's father because she was doing inappropriate things with her that I can't mention on YouTube. And so then she like does some other things that are demonetizable and bad. She like becomes an assassin to, get revenge, I guess, on Travis. I think there's a bit more to it, but
Why would she want to get revenge on Travis? Did Travis touch her too? Is there more to Travis touchdown
actually,
than
I think I might be putting that part mixed up.
I watched this
I don't
last
know
night.
why.
Alex sent me the slowed down version. So, I think she says the dad's touching her.
Yeah, it was the dad.
But then in the clip, she kills the mom too. She killed both parents.
She kills his mom. Okay, so her mom and Travis's mom aren't the same. They're different.
She's
people.
half sister.
Half sister. So she killed Travis's mom and dad.
Okay, I understand.
why did she kill the mom?
I don't know.
I guess she was an enabler.
Bad time. Yeah, but maybe enabler, bad time, bad play. Who knows?
Well,
anyway,
thing
because her mom committed suicide after her dad left her and stuff, and then once she was in care of her dad did awful things to her. So she sold her body, became an assassin in order to kill him, and that's where Travis's story began. There's a flashback where Travis is drunk in a bar and talking about how he wants revenge on Jean, and Sylvia's there, and Sylvia sets this whole thing up for this purpose. Don't ask too many questions because you're not going to make sense of any of this.
Nope.
No, it's just there to confuse and confound
Yeah.
the player.
But I'm still confused. Why does she want to kill Travis?
I don't.
Well, Travis wants to kill her.
Yeah, that's what Sylvia set up. Sylvia set it up so that he could get revenge.
Yeah.
Why did she kill the guy at the end? The Darth Vader guy?
Because he was in the way. I don't know.
In the way of what?
In the way of
The
her
plot, the reveal. Spencer, you're trying to make sense of
Spencer,
the end of a Suda game.
Just don't. Just go with it.
It's just that like there's. I disagree with the notion that you have to. I don't like that he uses such really violent things as like a joke. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh no, I don't think Jean is supposed to be a joke. I think
the game, but the game is a joke.
And that scene is handled in a way where like this would be too graphic, and the rating is already going to go up. I mean, I get it; it's an Easter egg, but it is talking about sexual abuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like okay, so she's abused sexually, obviously, and like that's
and the whole time Travis,
like a joke?
And I get it. Like the whole time, Travis is making gesticulations, like And so,
yeah,
like,
but you're never.
Mm-hmm.
You're not supposed to hear the story unless you slow it down.
But I heard, but didn't they make references in game that they did that? I'm pretty sure they said that in the game.
End game, all he says after the fast forward segment, he goes, "Could you imagine that? You and I, brother and sister." and then they mentioned her killing his father. That's it. They didn't say why or anything.
You can parse out some of the words in slow-mo.
Yeah.
I mean, so there's that. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about your comfort level with your humor. So like, I mean, I'm not directing at anybody here. I'm just saying it's like whatever you're, if you're okay with that, you're okay with that. If not, it's what it is. I don't know. I do think that when you're handling a topic like that, it is important to be, I don't know. The point of the game is it is kind of a comedic take and it's a parody. And so I have questions. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I'm with Teddy. Like, I don't know if I'm offended. I'm not really offended, but I'm like, it's a weird way to handle that subject matter.
I say most Suda games because the ones that have heavy studio involvement lead more into just being a joke. But the most Suda games that he's in full creative control of have this weird like split where it's like stupid, funny nonsense jokes and like also like trying to have a serious underlying theme. And this is probably where those two paths cross just right here. Where I could see it as being distasteful with the subject matter, but also I think within the character and the story themselves, they're not like making a joke out of her being what's been done to her. They're making a joke out of the fact that like it's too terrible to talk about on the game because they don't want it to be rated A or whatever. So
yeah, I just don't get it. I'll put that as my.
That's fair. That's fair.
So you fight Jean, and again, Jean is your half sister. So pretty cool boss fight. She punches the dead Dark Star in the head, and that big beam dragon thing comes out and makes an arena around you guys, which is always that was kind of a cool setting and part of the game. And you fight Jean. What do you guys think about the fight with Jean?
Hated it. Oh, she dodges every single attack. It's awful.
Yeah, you can't grab her. It was probably one of the more challenging ones because you're left kind of nerfed. You don't have that ability to grab and throw your enemies around.
I did manage to suplex her a couple times, so that was exciting. But other than that, no, hated it.
Teddy's always down for a good suplex.
It was a tough fight, and I liked that the weird dragon thing kept closing in on you. That was pretty neat. But it was just a hard fight, I guess, is really all there is to it.
Yeah. There's not really too much to talk about the fight itself. It's just a hard fight. I like it because it does feel like an ending fight to me. Like it does feel like a final fight. Even though again the whole storyline is sprung on you last minute, which I think is part of the point. That you're not supposed to take any of it seriously beyond this point. But she punches Travis through his chest. So she's about to kill him, and somebody comes from above and cuts her arm off. I don't know how that solved that problem, but it does. Cuts her arm off.
Let's shake.
Let's shake his back. Yeah, let's shake. Yeah.
No,
shake
it's not.
His giant potato.
It's Harvey Moisevich Volодарski.
It's the one we didn't kill. It's Shinobu. She's here.
Shinobu?
Shinobu.
Shinobu right there.
Rank 8. Number 8, Spencer. There you go.
No, I'm just making a play on words.
Okay.
Doesn't she default down to like rank 2 now?
Yeah, technically she won, right? I'm just kidding. No,
Nobody knows.
She cuts off Jean's arm. The rankings don't exist anymore. She cuts off Jean's arm, and then Travis has his final blow and cuts Jean. Well, first they have a little bit of an interaction where they're talking back and forth, and Jean is like, "I'm tired. Like I'm done." And Travis has an emotional moment. He cuts her down, and that's the end of the game. And Shinobu walks away, and Sylvia's there watching. There you go. That's the end of the game, guys.
Is that really the end?
No, because then Travis is taking a dump. Because he often does that.
That's my kind of credits.
Yeah, Travis is digging a dump, and somebody breaks into his bathroom. You don't see his face. He's supposed to be one of the characters from Killer 7, just so you guys know. He busts in and is obviously on. He's part of the ranking deal. I guess Sylvia's scamming him now. He's like, whatever, which you rank, and I'm gonna kill you. And then before he can do that, somebody slices him in half in Travis's bathroom. You know how much blood he's going to clean up in that bathroom? And it's Henry. Remember him?
Henry.
Yeah. Henry.
Mm-hmm.
Henry tells you to hurry up. I guess, wipe and stuff. Wash your hands, whatever. And meet him. He's going to meet you out in the parking lot. So your last boss fight of the game is with Mr. Henry Cooldown. Do you guys want to talk about the boss fight and some of the reveals?
Yeah. So you fight Henry. I wouldn't say that he's difficult. I feel like he's just a bit of a slog, I guess, because he has a lot of health, and even on the harder difficulties, he doesn't take a lot of damage. Or I meant to say, even on the easier difficulties, he doesn't take a lot of damage. But yeah, there's not really much to say outside of avoiding his ranged attacks and one-hit kill attack. And once you defeat him, it's revealed that he's his brother, which, it's another trope seen in a lot of action games like Devil May Cry, that kind of stuff. And it kind of has this like weird cliffhanger ending where they both like charge at each other and they're about to swing and attack, but then it like cuts to this painting that Sylvia and another Jean, which everyone thought at first was Henry's daughter, but it's revealed later it's Travis's daughter, or looking at it. So yeah, that was the game.
What you guys got to say about Henry? Anything?
It was a brawl. It was tough.
Brawl.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I agree. It wasn't necessarily hard, but there was some one-hit kill stuff in there, and he does have a lot of health. The ending was, as expected, I guess, from what I'd seen so far. So, yeah, it was cool.
It was a nice bout. I liked it more than the Dark Star sister battle. The banter was ridiculous and over the top. Just like they're just throwing a bunch of shit at you, like, oh, and by the way, I'm Sylvia's husband. And then Travis is like, she's a bad wife, but a good woman. And so it's like, he's like, wait, you did what? And so like a lot to infer there.
By the point that they say that's Sylvia's husband, that is 4 plot twists deep. At this is just Suda just twisting your arm, being like, none of this actually matters.
No, not at all.
Yeah, I do like I forgot the guy's name, but one of the videos I've watched brought up a good point about because Suda's always said that Travis is a bit of like the modern samurai. He always has the red jacket. When you start this boss fight, your default back into your red jacket, which is the color of like samurai armor. And Henry has sort of like a knight aesthetic to him, like I don't know, like always like that kind of like a nobleman aesthetic. He has like his beam kind of looks like a broadsword almost. So I always like the idea of the two ideologies clashing here. That's a cool, I think, a cool theme you can kind of take away from the two brothers. And I don't know, I always like this fight. I like Henry. I think this is obviously a better boss fight and better way to top off the story than Jean. And I also like the fact that the story doesn't end. They clash swords and they run down the road, and then before they're talking while they're running, which is so honestly, I said it's lunch. It's stupid. Like two guys running on the street, like swords clash together, talking to each other the whole time. And it's a very anime, obviously very anime moment there. Yeah. But Travis says some stuff, and they're talking about how there really is no exit, and then they have their big fancy showdown, and they jump, and then the painting happens. And I always like that ending because Suda just decided not to write one because that wasn't the point. The point of the game wasn't to have an ending.
Because there was no exit. Yeah, and that was
Yeah.
that was it.
I feel like it's a stretch calling him a samurai. I mean, I say maybe he's an otaku with samurai principles in some regard.
Well,
maybe
I think
theming.
I think that's what he's trying to say is that like he's inspired by like the samurai culture and some of the I wouldn't call him like a literal samurai. I wouldn't say Travis is a samurai.
He's like a bastardized version of
Yeah.
I guess.
A delinquent samurai.
It's like like when you're playing the game Telephone and like somebody says like potato and you play Telephone and then it gets to like the seventh person. It's like macaroni. It's like that. It's like Travis is a samurai if like the ideals of a samurai were passed down like 7 people and they're all like filtered through them. By the time you get to Travis, it's like, I guess, like, yeah. I don't know. That was No More Heroes. It was one hell of a journey. So I guess we can talk about what you guys thought about the story overall, and we can also do the rankings. Which one do you guys want to do first?
I guess we could talk about the other rankings and then what we thought about the story.
Let's rank the rankings with the Button Boys. Me and DZD already did this, but I'm going to throw that out the window, and I am going to disregard any of the rankings we did in our ranking video because we combined 1 and 2 together, and I am just going to focus on what we talked about here today. What?
You want to do top
How are we
3?
going to do this?
You could do everybody just their own top 3, and the worst one. Or we could just do a out of 5 scale or out of 10 scale for each one.
Yeah.
Out of let's do that. Out of 6 stars for Mario 64.
Classic map out.
Because that's our scale. That's always our scale for ranking. This is out of 6 stars. All right, so starting at death metal. What is your guys' score?
I would say he's a 5, or maybe like a 4.
I'm going 3.
Yeah, 3.
I'd give him a 4. Dr. Peace.
He's definitely a 6 in my book.
6.
Yeah, 6.
5.
Ooh, Teddy's going against the grain.
Still high though.
Yeah. Shinobu.
I would say like a 3 or a 3.5. I don't know. I don't know if you do halves.
You can. There's no rules, so we don't care.
I
In
would
this
say
game-
5.
Okay. 5. I go
Yeah,
4, maybe.
I was gonna say 5 as well.
And for me, it's more character design. I just really like her, the way she looks.
Droid Man.
He's definitely a 6.
Yeah, I'm giving him. I can't not give him a 6. I called him number 1 on my list.
3.
I'll do 5.
Holly Summers.
I'd have to say 3.
4.
3.
I'm gonna give it a 4 too. Let's shake.
Obviously
Okay.
6.
6. Yeah, 6 all across, right?
Unanimous.
Of course, yeah.
Harvey Moistowicz Volodarski.
2. At best.
Oh, I'd give him a 6, but I'm a 5 just because of the insta-kill move. Is there an insta-kill move?
Yeah, he has the thing where he puts you in the box and blows you up or something.
Oh, but that's not that bad. I give him a 6.
Yeah, you
I
can
give,
escape from that easily.
I give him a 4.
Give him a 1.
Whoa.
Speedbuster. What does she mean?
I'll give her a 4.
4. 4's good.
3.
Just how weird she was.
5. Almost a 6, but it starts to drag towards the end.
Bad Girl.
I'll probably give her the same rank as Shinobu.
Okay.
What was that, 3?
I'd say 5.
Yeah, it was like a 3.5, like almost a 4.
Okay.
There were 5.
3.
I like bad girls.
All
You're
right.
into that sort of thing.
Dark Star, aka Gene.
Hmm. I guess I would go with a 5 for the Gene segment.
Not for Dark
Just so
Star.
out of left field.
And Dark Star.
Yeah, and Dark Star.
Okay. Who has a face? Confirmed. I checked.
I give it a
4.
I give it a 5.
1.
Henry.
Henry?
Henry, I think I will
Henry?
give him up. No, I don't know.
I'll give it a 4.
Yeah, I guess 4. I was kind of leaning 4.
I have to give him a 6, man. I like Henry too much.
I'm on the 4.
I don't understand. What is there to like about Henry? I don't even understand.
He has an interesting design, but yeah, I
And
guess
yeah,
doesn't have
and
much.
He just looks like a dude.
It's a bias for me because they do stuff with him in the other games.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
So, and also he's voiced by Raiden from Metal Gear,
Yeah. Then they couldn't get
except
him
for
to
in
do it.
3 because he got in
Yeah.
trouble for some stuff. He got canceled, or I don't know. Who cares?
Yeah. Don't want to talk about that.
yeah. Please don't talk about it. We'll just move past it. Oh, Teddy, did you rank Henry?
Oh, I said 4.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. All right. That was the rankings. I do want to ask you guys, just out of my personal curiosity, obviously my favorite is Destroyman. Which boss was your favorite?
Dr. Peace.
I would have to say, yeah, Dr. Peace. Second, maybe Shinobu.
Even though I ranked Harvey higher, it's probably Speedbuster because I just think that in terms of the concept of like what I got out of this game, which was more of like this kind of tongue-in-cheek comedy, I think she was the most successful, and it was the one where I thought that the contrast was well handled and also enjoyable. Now it's entirely subjective, but I don't know. I think she served her purpose.
Nice. Now we don't do this on the show because we focus on levels, but No More Heroes is a little different. That's why I'm calling it a rank out. And yeah, do you guys just want to talk about?
What was yours? Oh, you're
I said
okay.
Yeah, I said Destroy Man.
Okay.
You guys just want to talk about what the hell transpired or anything like that? What you thought the game meant?
Yeah, okay. Who wants to go first?
Like why did Suda make this game?
This is for Alex Month, so either Alex you can open or close, I guess.
I'll close. I'll close with my thoughts because I talk a lot. So
I guess I'll go. So I'm not gonna try to say that I knew what was going on in Suda's head, but I think that this was just more or less kind of, I wouldn't want to say a diary for Suda, but kind of like a weird sort of look into his grind set, because he I remember, I don't know if he said this in an interview or something, but I remember he mentioned like having to work like all these really bad jobs and in order to get into game development. And so I feel like it's kind of just him venting his emotions into this crazy action game.
I've been clear on mine. I don't think it means anything. I think it's all just a parody.
I don't know if I'm in a position to tell what Suda means, especially because like I came out of this with like every member of the ranking is a caricature, and I don't know if I intend to treat any of them as any more than that. And I think they're cool. I enjoyed them. I think that was the thing to look forward to every time, is what crazy boss is going to come up next. I didn't treat them as commentaries on an industry. You could make that an analysis entirely. You could say that maybe he has a thing against magicians or entertainment, and and I get it. It's just that for me, I didn't walk away from this game with that as my like core takeaway. What I took away was more so from a gameplay scale and just kind of the variety and everything, which I appreciated. I didn't hate the game. I kind of enjoyed it. And then there were moments I kind of hated. But all in all, I mean, it was a unique experience, and I was happy to play it for Alex Month.
I think this game is. I really don't want to use this term, but I think it's the closest thing I can think of is an acquired taste. First time I ever played through it, I agreed with Spencer. I thought it was just a funny parody action game. But then I kept playing it, and I kept playing it, and I saw people making their own assumptions of what the story means, of what the hell Suda, and I've learned about Suda and his history and all this shit, and played other Suda games, and I've seen what a Suda game looks like when there is no heart and soul put into it, when it is just like a hollow, like funny game. Like he's done a few of those whenever he's been with larger publishers. No More Heroes is definitely not that. I think that there is something here, and my biggest takeaway has always been the portrayal of violence. That's always been my big takeaway with this game, is the fact that violence is, it's not really like, I don't want to say it's like glorified, like like in this game. I mean, in the title, it's called No More Heroes. Everybody in this game is a terrible person. Travis begins the story and ends the story the same way in terms of monetary value, in terms of the kind of person he is, with his social life. He's a fucking loser. He doesn't have anybody. He doesn't have anybody really in his life. He doesn't know anybody. He lives by himself in a shitty motel room and watches anime and wrestling, and he's kind of like at a dead end. And I think that was the perfect character he could have chose for a game where it's all about the meaning of violence and going through those topics that we've talked about, which each ranking. But I do like the fact that Travis seems to grow as a person by the end of the game, in terms of what honor means to him, and that's always been my takeaway. Is it's two camps for me. It's violence and Travis's growth. Have always been two big parts of the story for me.
Yeah, and that's the.
I just don't see any growth.
Not. It's okay. What growth is there? It's very minimal, but it's like at the beginning of the game, he's just this crass shithead, and then at the end of the game, he's a crass shithead with like a moral compass or something. Like he's kind of like not moral compass, like a
Code of honor.
Code of honor. Thank you. Yeah, he has some sense of like a code of honor by the end.
Yeah.
What honor though?
So starting with Holly, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't understand what honor? Where does that come in later?
I think in the other games he kind of sees the pointlessness of just killing. And
so it's in like 2 that it...
Yeah. No, yeah, 2 questions the whole assassin thing in general, and 3, he's not even really an assassin. 3.
Yeah, he's just defending Earth from these aliens.
Yeah, and 3, like whenever he there's a boss fight. I'm not gonna say what it is. There's I know Spencer. There's a boss fight in 3 where he kills a person, and he's like, I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, and then in like the very first boss, he's actually trying to convince the guy to join him and not fight.
Yeah, so I think
character growth.
Yeah, I think there's Travis by the end of the 3rd game, and Travis at the end of the 1st game are very different people as well. So the character still grows beyond this point. So maybe that's like me portraying like I know where this character goes, so I'm trying to like see some of that in the 1st game.
But in you said that in the 2nd and 3rd game they pretend that this ending didn't even happen.
They pretend the fake UAA thing didn't happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe in the whole picture, it's a different story.
Yeah,
maybe.
It's a pseudo game. Stop it. Don't think about it.
Don't.
You just told me to think about it.
Just stop it. Now it's time to stop.
What do you want?
What do you want? I want to know what Speedbuster means.
What does it mean?
Yeah. Did you guys? And you be perfectly honest.
Didn't Teddy have something to say?
I thought Teddy said it.
I had my hand up, but if you want to move on.
Oh, sorry. I wasn't looking at this thing. I'm sorry. You go ahead, Teddy.
There's levels of irony in this game that makes it very hard to dig into in order to personalize it for myself or attach it to myself. I think everything is hyperbole and an exaggeration in terms of characters, and I think the game takes itself seriously in how not serious it is. And because of that framework, it's hard for me to seriously connect to any one character. Now you're saying it's an acquired taste. Absolutely. Like, it's going to work for some people. It's not going to work for others. I just happen not to be in that camp. That's why when I played it, I took out of it more of a, like, let's just enjoy like the game and the activities and kind of just the comedy of it all. And so for that,
that's a
for
fair
what it
point.
was, yeah.
You know, I hate when people who constantly have to overanalyze everything, and you know, sometimes you just gotta realize that it's just kind of not really much to it outside of what you're putting in.
But I do validate that you can have analyses into it, and Suda is a very interesting person with an interesting history. He's done interviews that, you know, suggest like what his inspirations are and like what he intended, and, you know, and those directions. It's just that for me, I think it's just a genre perspective. It's like, what do you like? What do you like in a game? Do you like kind of over the top humor? Do you like tongue in cheek humor? And, you know, and for me, I don't, and I think that's okay. And so, and at the end of the day, there is still fun to be had here. Now, if I had to play it on the Wii, I don't think I could have done this. But yeah, no,
So-
that's what it is.
It's my closing question, in which I guess Teddy's kind of answered it, but he can go over it again if he wants to. Is, and to be perfectly honest, I know you guys know that this game means a lot to me personally, but I want to know: did you enjoy the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot more when I realized I didn't have to play it like a Wii game.
Yeah, I think you would enjoy it a lot more with the Pro Controller.
I enjoyed this more than any Grand Theft Auto game or Dynasty Warriors.
Oh, wow. I at first when I played the game as like a young preteen teenager, I didn't enjoy it that much. I thought it was just stupid nonsense. But even as an adult, realizing that it's stupid nonsense, I kind of just go with it.
Yeah, it is an acquired taste, and you can't look at it from different angles, and it's. I think it's why it's one of my favorite games of all time. I am that person that likes to overanalyze things. It's just in my nature to do that with stuff. Like, I find simplicity, and especially in games, a lot of times bore me. I think that's honestly why, and I don't want to offend anybody here, but that's honestly why I haven't been able to beat a Dragon Quest game. It's because a lot of times when I play the game, a lot of the stories that I interact with in that game, especially. Not saying it's a bad game. Mechanically, it's fantastic. But like in terms of like the plots and stuff like that, when I go to a town and stuff, and it's just like, oh, this prince doesn't want to partake in this race. Can you do it for him? And oh, okay, now you've helped him out and stuff. It's like I like, it's cool on the surface level, but to me, I like to dig deeper and stuff like that. And like, I don't know, I like the weird irony of it all, and that's also why like this game's up there. Games like Nier are up there. I'm glad Spencer brought Nier up earlier. So this game means a lot to me. I couldn't think of a different way to end Alex Month. Talk about No More Heroes. Anybody got a Shrek joke?
I'm making waffles.
Shrek?
It kind of sounds like Shrek, right?
Yeah. No?
Is
that a compliment?
If Henry
it's
said
a compliment, then yes.
if Henry said donkey, I would have been like, yeah.
Damn, Shrek, stop eating my potatoes. Who said
It's
that?
the final dude. What if the final boss of No More Heroes was Shrek? What if you walked out in the parking lot and it was Shrek?
It's just a Dark Souls boss. You get killed in one hit.
He has a big club.
Only,
He just-
only one hit kills attacks.
Yeah. He farts on you and you pass out.
The epic cutscene.
Thanks for joining DD. You couldn't think of anybody better for this episode than you.
Yeah, I'm glad to come on here.
Thanks for putting up with my bullshit, Spencer
it's
and
fine.
Teddy and Andy. You're all. I'm getting the keys. You're all being unshackled from Alex Month.
Yay, we're free.
Coming up, starting next Monday at the time of this posting, is Xbox Month.
Oh, cool.
As my announcement on the first would have said.
Oh, sorry. Well, we announced it on the Game Talk, so people
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, people already know. So I was just hyping it up, Spencer. Damn it!
Being the hype man. I got it.
How many times I've said Spencer, damn it, on the show?
Spencer, damn it.
Spencer, damn it.
God damn it, Spencer.
Fucking Spencer.
Stop eating
Fucking-
my potatoes.
Fucking no more heroes. Fucking gotta
No more
take out.
heroes.
Gonna take off these rankings.
That otaku is not right.
Taco ain't right.
God damn it, Travis. God damn it. What does Speedbuster mean?
If Hank raised Travis, you would not be doing this. You'd be a different man.
Dad. It's just Bobby as Travis. Yeah. All right, bye.
All right, yeah, I'll talk to you guys whenever.
Oh, sorry,
Sounds
I was
good.
ending the show.
Oh.
Yeah. I
Okay.
didn't mean bye to you. I meant bye to the listener.
That's how Alex just leaves all of our conversations.
Yeah. Okay. Bye. Boop. I just like sign off.
Where did he go?
All right. I can take off this jacket now. I'm
Oh,
hot
yeah,
as
imagine-
fuck in this thing.
Hey y'all, don't forget to subscribe to them button mappers.